your browser stream thing.
Wait, am I live?
I
Yes, I should be live.
I will
Wait,
find.
it says stream start okay. All right. Okay, there we go. I should be live now.
I will keep clicking refresh. Whether or not I can pronounce any of the words in that sentence, I will George Jetson this button indefinitely. Okay, here we go. Hey, I see my stream on your stream. I'm like, how did that get
Hi.
over there? That's my desk. I like to bring a childlike sense of delight and wonder to everything I do by virtue of not understanding what's going on. Okay, so once we've got all the technical stuff set up, we can go ahead and introduce ourselves. Some of y'all might already know me. I'm Joe Hills. I'm broadcasting live from Nashville, Tennessee. And this morning, we are joined on the Arts and Crafts stream by special returning guest, JaneyLaney. Woo!
Hey, there's an imaginary applause there. Hi guys. Hello. That's it.
Yay.
Joe's here. I'm going to pre-record an intro for you. I'm just going to pre-record it. It's going to sound the same each time and it will be bland, but it will be pre-recorded and
Well,
will sound like a
it doesn't
musical
need to be
song.
bland though. It could be musical.
Well,
Like it could be like,
I'm not musically inclined.
oh boy, we need to hire a contractor then.
Weird Al. I believe in the Weird Al Joe combo. Like I am pushing for it.
I see. Like if you could, I don't know what project I would pitch to Weird Al, because like I have been listening to Weird Al since I was a little kid. The first tape, cassette tape, music cassette tape. For those of y'all who don't know, before they had compact discs or Zunes, music used to come on a cassette tape. This was after the record and the 8-track. But anyway, first cassette tape I ever bought was Weird Al's Bad Hair Day. I've been a Weird Al fan as long as I could
Wow.
purchase music, basically. And but like I don't know what I would try to work with him on, cuz like when Ben Folds worked with Weird Al, Ben Folds was like, "Hey, Weird Al, I've got my own music. I want you to come in and help me do a music video because you're like an expert at directing music videos, right?" But he
Yeah.
didn't say like, "Hey, let's write a song together." Because I don't know that Weird Al
Oh,
does that, right? When he
right.
writes a song, he writes it like for him and his band, you know?
Correct. But I mean, I don't like listen, you guys could just I don't I just see something. I feel like you would be the exception. Cuz I just see it. Like when I think you, I think Weird Al. And it was playing in my mind for about like 6 months of why I was like he reminds me of somebody. He reminds me of Weird Al.
Well, I mean, I obviously am timelessly youthful, and incredibly handsome, so I see that. I do write parody music, so that's a slightly weaker argument, but it does hold up under some scrutiny. So yeah, there's a second argument there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I've always appreciated Weird Al, and he's definitely a huge influence on me artistically. So yeah, I just I guess it's weird because I play on a server with like all these other people, but I'm still kind of a loner, right? Or like creatively, like
Right?
I don't know. I guess I collaborate with other people on other projects. I did cartooning collaboratively. I did writing for a role playing game collaboratively, but like when it comes to my music, I usually just kind of write my own lyrics and then I hand them off to somebody, my sibling in particular, who like does the arrangement and performance. I don't know.
Wait, does your sibling have a Twitter? Is that who the other person is? There's somebody else who I think that they have a Twitter.
Yeah, they're going by Redacted Hills on Twitter right now, I
Okay,
think.
yes, that is them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Of Sean Hills
Okay.
sings Joe Hills fame.
Yeah, okay, okay. I just had to make sure because
No, that's a real account.
I've
Yeah.
been meaning to ask you that, but I'm like, is that weird? Like, I just
Yeah, we have some stuff for our third album in the works right now, but like the primary holdup right now is just finances. Um
oh, that makes sense.
so yeah.
It's like the unfortunate that makes sense
Yeah, yeah.
thing. Is I'm sorry about that.
Well, it would probably help if I remembered to like link that I accept tips and stuff during my stream. So let's do that now. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. Um, womp womp. Why is the YouTube chat not working? Oh, there it is. Um,
Okay, hey guys. So I am with Joe Hills. His link is inside of the chats right there. And we're going to be doing some art. Um, he's going to be coloring beautiful masterpieces of work, using all of his knowledge of the color wheel and gradients.
probably
Um,
not.
okay,
I'm just gonna do
well,
whatever makes
no,
sense at the time.
listen. Well, he's going to do things that look way better than if I did it. There we go.
If I was gonna
Well,
color
oh,
your, speaking of coloring things in, your
yeah.
Twitch URL here. The last text I had on the screen was Halloween colors, which
I
might
was
not
going to
exactly
ask.
suit your brand.
I wasn't going to ask. Look, I saw it. I saw it also look creepy, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Let's see.
It looks no, keep it. I like it. Plus, it's still it like it stands out.
Okay.
I think it stands out.
I was gonna go off on a tangent for probably 25 minutes just messing with fonts, but you're right. We're here to color, and
What?
not to talk about typography. Okay.
That is the stream. That is the stream.
Yeah. Art comes in many forms, some of which are more crafty than others. Uh, Let me link twitch.tv/ JaneyLaney _ because I just really want to underscore what a great follow she is on Twitch.
I see what you did there.
Oh yeah.
You are amazing.
You know what? You've got a keen eye for it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Real quick, thank you to our first tip of the stream, Jenny, who tips 5, who says, "Here's to a third album or Joe having food, whichever is more important to you at the time." Yeah, that's the thing. Is like because of just taking time, the 3-month hiatus at the beginning of the year, and then taking some time off in August. Like I keep being like, oh, I should do some sort of like fundraiser for like the artistic projects I want to do. And I'm like, but the problem is I don't have the baseline amount of money I need to like make rent at the end of this month. you know. So
Oh,
I need to just do my job and hope that the tips come in first and then worry about funding other stuff later. Um so yeah, that will
ye-
definitely be food money. Thank you, Jenny.
priorities,
I know,
priorities.
right?
You know. Thank you guys so much for the follows. I appreciate it. So basically, if there is a slight echo, I'm gonna fix it because I didn't know about this until today. Well, yeah, I didn't know about this until today. So I will like attempt to fix it. But what I will say is that I also have my setup looking a little janky right now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah, my craft
Um
stream is kind of awkward too. I've got like the mic boom way out. All the lights are in the wrong places because they're pointing at the table instead of at my face. It's like, it'll be okay. This is the chill informal stream.
yes, very chill, informal. Hey guys,
I'm
welcome
not
from
wearing a
Joe's
tie.
stream. You're not?
No.
Look, I don't even have my wig on right now, actually. To be honest, I
Oh, you
thought
can.
about it because I was like, "Ah, I'm gonna throw on the wig. Wait, I'm not even gonna be in this stream. What are you talking about?
Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even know where my wig is. That's a
Yeah.
boy. This place is. I'm not gonna say it's a wreck because that would imply that like I've got scuba divers in and out of here all the time. But like,
Right.
it's definitely disorganized. Uh, like there's a new Mario Kart set of courses coming out soon, and people are like, Joe, have you found your Nintendo Switch yet? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I put it down on a horizontal surface somewhere in this room. But this room is like all shelves and piles of things, and like
Oh.
I I have not found it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I found my Switch just in time for Scarlet
Oh, how's
and
that?
Violet. Oh my gosh. I listen, I like Pokemon, I do. All right. And I'm not the one to sit up here and talk about bad graphics because that's just not me. I mean, because you know what you get. But
Mm-hmm.
it is a little bit janky in the background when you see double of an NPC drinking coffee and like skating across the land when they should be walking.
Oh,
But other
nice.
than that, like I love it. Like I've been doing actually fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been loving it. Yes, guys, I do have the turtle. It's a long story because as you guys can see, the turtle has no feet. The feet got lost somewhere. I do have the turtle out today though. Just
What?
the
Yeah, I was gonna
turtle is
ask what that
here.
is you're working on there.
Yes. Well, so basically redoing I was supposed to be redoing my okay, there we go. I was supposed to be redoing my turtle perler bead art,
Mm-hmm.
but I was also like, well, maybe I want to do some stop motion today. So I do actually have my actual turtle out. So I could make stop motion uh Turtle and Steve series if I actually felt like it. But yeah, I still wanted to have the turtle out just in case. And guys, let me know if the stream has uh stopped
Completely
for
frozen.
anyone.
It looks
Yeah,
like
let
it
me know
has
if
for
I'm frozen.
me. Oh, now it's unfrozen.
Okay. Yes. And thank you so much, Anonymous, for gifting the subs. Look, I am free from Facebook finally, okay? I feel
Oh, I am very
liberated.
excited for you about that. Um, before we roll into that though, because I could go on. I just got a $5 tip from Mahi0 who says, "Oh hey, look at the Google Play credits I just found." Well, thank you very much, Mahis, for the 5. Oh yeah, I forgot to rotate the camera. We are doing angular rotations, 1 degree of rotation for each dollar that rolls in. So we got 5 degrees for the tip that came in earlier from Jenny, and another 5 now for. Oh no, that's the JaneyLaney URL. Hold on. Let's rotate my camera, like I
Whoa.
said. We don't want people to be unable to find Janie because her URL has fallen by the wayside there. Uh, but I will say, Janie, I did not want to say anything about Facebook to you, like when we first met, because I was like, this is a cool person and I don't want to make a jerk of myself. But
No.
I
I
would
I knew it.
never work with Facebook.
No, let me tell you. So in back in the day, like 2 years ago, Mixer fell.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
you know,
I was there.
Mixer
I was
fell.
on Mixer.
Yeah,
That was like my primary streaming platform. I was
yeah.
mixer.com/Joe. That's
Interesting.
a good URL to have.
Yeah, that actually is interesting. Huh.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry. Mixer
Fun
fell.
fact. No, no, that's a fun fact.
It
Oh my
is.
god. Interesting. Huh. Huh. So basically what ended up happening is is that fell and they were like, "Oh yeah, all the partners, you guys could go to Facebook." And I was so anti-Facebook, I went off on the people, got banned in the Discord
Nice.
because of how I felt. And then like a month or two later, like I started contacting all of the black partners and they didn't contact hardly any black partners to do the merging.
Mhm.
So I went off on them again,
Mhm.
ended up sitting down and talking with the creator of Facebook Gaming, And that ended up leading to them creating the Black Creators Program,
Mhm.
where they decided to, be preemptive, I don't know, and just like pay out Black creators. And FYI, even if this was NDA, I'm not with them anymore. They could come find me if it's that serious.
Mhm.
So I stayed there for 2 years because I needed money.
Yeah.
That was about it. Other than that, no, they're trash.
Well, and that was the thing, like, that frustrates me is, like, more people need to be paying up and coming talent, because
Yes.
otherwise the only people who can afford to do it are folks whose parents are already rich or who already don't need to work for some reason. And if
Right.
that's the case, you're going to end up with a diversity problem.
Yes.
And
And
sorry.
mhm. No, go, 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 go.
So, like, I was happy to see that somebody was stepping up and paying out up and coming creators, but I was upset that it was a company that I knew was going to screw people over in the long term.
Oh, yes,
A-
because they did.
And
They
and
did.
and so that was the thing, was I was like, when I first met you, I was like, "Oh, Janie, she's great," but like I was never going to retweet anything that had a link to Facebook in it, because I don't. That's not a judgment on you. That's something I've done for a
No, that's
decade.
fine.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I was really happy. Not that I love Amazon. I'm going to end the sentence there, because arguably I tolerate Amazon a lot more than I tolerate Facebook. Uh,
Right.
and so, like, not that I love Amazon, but I actively want to see Facebook fail. And so, yeah, I was very glad to see
That's
you moving
funny.
to another platform. Uh,
That's that that's actually really funny. No, I I make business moves for business purposes, but literally the reason why I had to do that was because due to the accident I was in at the beginning of 2020,
mhm,
I literally was I was always a full-time content creator.
mhm,
So I was like, Mixer just fell. I'm dealing with all these medical expenses, and they want to throw money at me just for showing up melanated. Oh, I'm going to be blackety black and take my money. And that's exactly what I did.
mhm,
And I told them about a bunch of creators that were black as well. And and that was one of the ways that I felt like I could at least contribute to something. I tried my best to even like talk to them about doing other programs and all this stuff because I want all creators to be successful.
mhm.
And it, it is what it is. Sometimes yeah, sometimes you do have to take an L, partially for the money. And it's not a good thing to say that, but a lot of people have jobs that they go to every single day that they hate. So, it's kind of the same concept. I just I just kept telling myself that this is just a pit stop.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that I did what I did because had I had just stayed on Twitch after Mixer, I would have hated it cuz I used to cry when I would stream on Twitch. Like it actually used to make me cry every stream and I would get sick. I would throw up when I was done streaming. I did not like it. I tried out Twitch for like 3 months and I would just cry. I That's why I got rid of my Discord
Yeah.
because people would come into Discord and they would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you moved to Twitch." Yada yada yada, mix everything. I shut it down. I shut down everything because I was tired of like the racism. I completely had like a meltdown, and then they're like, "We're gonna give you money," and I'm like, "Well, I'll cry as I'm spending money."
Yeah. Well,
So
like I mean, the, I don't know how many folks out there have read Kurt Vonnegut's seminal novel Slaughterhouse-Five, but the main character goes throughout his day just involuntarily sobbing all the time.
Oh.
And I used to think that that was just like, oh, that's an interesting character note because of the PTSD of fighting in World War II or whatever. But I don't know,
Mhm.
now that I'm like a single parent and dealing with all this stress, like I break down sobbing all the time too. And like people are like, "Are you gonna do something about that?" And I'm like, "What?" Like I'm still getting stuff done. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't be involuntary sobbing if I could just stop. So, I don't know. Like, I'll also say, in terms of the Twitch side of things, I avoided streaming on Twitch for years in favor of Mixer because I was really upset about a lot of Amazon's worker treatment problems, their union stuff. At the end of the day, though, I can use the tools Amazon hands me to complain about them for free. And
Yes.
they are technically getting a cut of the ad revenue when people join the stream, but like all of the tips and stuff that roll in. Like, for example, I just got a tip rolling in here, $25 from Incredimike, who says supporting the art streams. Woo! Well, that came in via PayPal. Amazon doesn't get 50% of that. So I'm just going to
Right.
go ahead and spin my head to 35 degrees over here. Woo! And, meanwhile, be like, Amazon should really allow workers to unionize. Fun fact, the federal government just told them so. They're like, you have to stop firing workers who try to unionize. Now, in theory, this is the sort of thing you should know, right? Like, sometimes a
Yeah.
judge will try to patiently explain to someone why murder is wrong, but at the point where a judge is explaining to you why something is wrong, you've already screwed up. You should have had your parents tell you that, right? Like, ah. So I don't know. At a certain point, I was just like, from a practical standpoint, I was like, I've got 5,000 followers on Twitch, and I should just go back to streaming on Twitch occasionally, like co-streaming Twitch and YouTube to let people know to go follow me on YouTube if they want to see my streams.
Yeah.
And then one day I get a tweet from this robot that like tells you when you hit milestones. And it's like, congratulations, Joe, to hitting 50,000 followers on Twitch. I was like, that can't be right. I have 5,000. The only reason I stream on Twitch is so that people know that I still am alive. That's not
Yeah.
my target platform. But apparently, I like people are like, "Oh, tell me how to become like how did you get big numbers?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just showed up while complaining about how much Amazon sucks and refusing to sign bad contracts. Like, don't sign bad contracts, complain about Amazon and show up. You'll get there, kid." I don't know. Uh sorry, I'm ranting. Um
No, that is great advice.
but yeah, I mean, and I'm still not a Twitch partner or whatever. But yeah.
I mean, look, you're making it work for how it needs to work, and I think that that's the important thing about that people need to actually know about content creation. That's why people know that I didn't re-sign that darn contract with Facebook. Because look, I want people to know straight up, if you're not feeling comfortable about things, don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
if it really does not make you feel comfortable, don't do it, because you're going to hate yourself if you do. And a lot of these companies, they know how they could pressure content creators. They know how they could do it. That's why you have some Twitch partners who are under the misbelief that they can only be partnered on one platform. That's a whole lie. I know several Twitch partners who are actually partnered on all major platforms.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube
So,
partner because I got invited by a guy at Minecon Las Vegas. His email was incredibly common first name at youtube.com. I just randomly was sitting next to him at a talk and I mentioned I had a YouTube channel. He's like, "Oh, cool, I work for YouTube." And I'm
oh
like,
wow.
"Oh, okay, cool." And so yeah, I became a YouTube partner after meeting somebody who worked there who like talked to me about what I was doing and I talked to him about what they were doing and like got a good vibe from it, And I also read the contract after that. I wasn't just like, "Oh,
Right.
that guy was cool, let me just sign this." You know.
Right.
You got to really be able to like make decisions based on your own experience and what's put in front of you, not just, "Hey, this person who has the job I want but got it 15 years ago did it this way. I'm sure I should do the same thing." If you are copying what people did 15 years ago, then you're no better than the generals in Vietnam who were still fighting the Korean War. Okay? You don't want to be like those idiots. You want to engage with the present and your
Yes.
surroundings, you know? Sorry, I'm These are all things I
No,
rant about. I,
you are fine, Joe. You never have to apologize for ranting, because you know Twitter's my soapbox. I don't even put everything I like to rant about on Twitter either, because people be in their feelings and like
oh
to
yeah,
message
yeah.
me. But like,
I love Twitter
no,
for that.
yeah, like you talk. It's important for people to talk about the things that like actually either bother them or just on their mind. Because shoot, why not? Like, I don't know. I feel like whenever you have a rant about something, it always ends with you kind of chuckling about it, which lightens it. But then also it'll be just like some real deal stuff. Like, no, people really should take that into consideration.
Well, I want people to get something out of this stream, and it if I can take a little bit of the stupid stuff I've had to deal with and help someone make new mistakes for themselves instead of making the same mistakes I made,
Right.
hey, that's good. I don't
And
know.
thank you guys so much for the gifted subs. Howdy, 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 everyone. Guys, if I ever jump onto stream and I'm like, howdy, y'all, it's Janey, just know it's because I just got done like watching a bunch of Joe content.
What?
That would probably never happen to where I say howdy, y'all, because
Well, no, because you got to have your
I
own
can't.
thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't roll in here and be like, oh boy, I'm trying to think who. Like, I actually try to avoid watching other people that do work too similar to what I do because I
Makes
don't
sense.
want to pick up their mannerisms, right? I
Mm.
I don't want people being like, "Wow, Joe, you really delivered that monologue the way Mumbo would right there." Because, like, if I wanted to watch a Mumbo Jumbo episode, I would go to youtube.com/Mumbo Jumbo, not youtube.com/Joe Hills TSD. Like I don't need that attitude. But oh hey, what I do need is more tips, and we got some rolling in. Thank you, Brian, for sending in 5. And it looks like Laura sent in another 3, who says came for the craft stream, stayed for the Joe Hills difference. So let's go ahead and rotate that camera another 8 degrees. Woo. Here we go. 43 degrees angular.
I got my stencil that I wanted. We're gonna be making a Christmas tree.
Yay, Christmas trees.
Welcome everyone to the stream. Bama, thank you so much for gifting those subs. Bama, you know what? I'm gonna say thank you to you because even though you keep on trying to use the anonymous tab thing, we all know it's you. And your name is not gonna be on the leaderboard because Twitch doesn't like you. I don't know why.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, like Bama donated, like gifted 50 subs the other day and would not be able to be on the leaderboard. But somebody then gifted like 2 and then they were on number 1.
Maybe that's a privacy setting. That
Oh
the
yeah, Bama, it might be you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't blame yourself there. Like that person might be trying to stay under the radar. You know what the nice thing about
Brian,
flying under the radar is? You're closer to the earth.
what? Okay. I
It's
just
exactly that sort
what?
of new age nonsense that really helps streamers connect with a plausible audience.
I feel like that would be a viral tweet. I just don't know why. It would be a viral
Okay, you know
tweet.
what? I'm gonna post this on Twitter, and
Do it.
and we'll see if people actually like this. So I gotta go to twitter.com. We're doing this live, people. I like to fly below the radar because I feel
Radar's gonna
closer
start
to
trending.
the earth.
Why do
Oh,
you have to say
I
it
accidentally had caps lock on, so this looks really unhinged.
say it
Oh
like
my
that?
god! I'm just gonna post it.
Why do you have to sound so serene, like you just got done meditating?
This looks
I feel
absolutely
closer to the
bonkers.
earth. Like, okay.
This went
Joe
from
is
like,
one with
oh,
nature
this is a
now.
funny idea to like now I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, that's art. I'll post a link to the tweet if anybody wants to.
There's gonna be somebody from Hermitcraft. You good? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get
Here.
so many. Are you okay, Joe? I posted it in your chat too. I hope that's okay.
No, dang it. What the heck? Why is he not a VIP?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a VIP, so I might
Root
have been
twist?
assuming a little bit more freedom than I needed there.
That is funny. Okay, you could wait, unable to add VIP?
You can only have so
What?
many
Joe?
VIPs. They started
Really?
capping it. Yeah.
Hey yo, somebody's getting kicked off my VIP list. Bama, you are in charge of who gets kicked off.
Everybody's responding so true, King.
Oh my god. That is funny. Guys, I'm gonna be posting. I'm gonna post the link. I'm gonna post the link.
My Zero writes the lowercase i's really make it. I know, right? Oh boy, this is the great thing about like being creative is that some parts of it is intention and some parts of it are just delightful accidents. And you don't know what the delightful accidents are gonna be. Oh wait, Bob Ross. Now I sound like Bob Ross. Oh, just a little happy little accident there. I don't know why I'm talking like this to be Bob Ross.
Wait, what? We need to not have Joe on Twitter. Jesus.
Put it on Tumblr as well and compare how the two perform. Oh gosh, Nepeta, you're giving me more work here, but like you're not wrong.
Wow. This is funny. Why is it so funny though?
Well, because
All right,
flying
guys.
below the radar is traditionally something that like bombers do, like planes, instruments of war. And so the contrast with the lovey-dovey hipster or not hipster, hippie, I feel closer to the earth. Like you could just imagine this bumper sticker on a stealth bomber.
That
Like
is funny. I'm just glad that you didn't like post like a bucket hat Joe picture at the same time.
oh yeah.
Cause then that would have been kind of wild.
Oh boy. Man, that was a humbling experience. Do you want to know a little bit of the context of the bucket hat
Yes.
picture?
Yes.
So I know you're aware of one element of this, which is that Minecraft mailed a bunch of people bucket hats.
Yeah.
They did not mail me a bucket hat, because I was not going to, like, I'm sorry if a brand at that scale wants me to promote their stuff, they don't need me to mail me their stuff. They need to send me $1,500 to $5,000.
Right.
Like, I at the point where I'm worrying about rent at the end of the month, I don't need a designer hat. I need
Right.
rent at the
So
end of the
that you
month.
could be out on the street with a designer hat on, right?
Yeah. I don't. This will look real good when I'm arguing to a judge about what technically homeless means. So I'm like, yeah, I was like, oh, other people are posting, like Pearlescent Moon posted like a cute picture of herself with the bucket hat on. And I was like, what? I could take a picture of myself looking cute in a bucket hat. And none of the pictures were cute. They all came out looking like a cross between Weird Al and one of my uncles. And I was like, oh god, I'm getting old. I'm just gonna post the ugliest one.
That is funny. See, I figured it had something to do with that because of the time frame.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I saw the bucket hats and I thought that they were cool, you know.
I'm not saying they're not cool. I'm
I
just
didn't
saying
I didn't get one, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel anything. I was thinking about money too. I was still thinking to myself, so did a check come that needed to be cleared with that? Like, you
yeah.
know.
Well, The creators of Penny Arcade, they had a problem where they kept like doing stuff for free or accidentally giving
Oh,
away the rights to their comics and stuff.
oh no.
And so when they got their first guy, so basically this guy who came into their apartment to sell the um like he worked for like another company, and he was trying to get them to work with them, and he realized how terrible they were at running their own business, and was just like, just let me run your business for you in exchange for a percentage of the profits.
Right. It's not
You
that.
guys are such failures at this. I can do this better than you. You do the art, and I'll do the you not starving, because the two of you like Penny Arcade was already huge at the time, and he's like, this is the apartment that you two choose to live in together. Well, we don't choose to. This is what we can afford. This is what you can afford. Okay, there's a lot here. But one of the things he told them to internalize is just, if somebody asks you to do something, you say, F you, pay me. And then you
Right.
have them email me. Okay? That's it. Don't agree to anything. Immediately tell them to screw off, demand money, and then have them get in touch with me. This
As
is
it
a
should
pretty
be.
good system. Because and like one of the things I appreciate about it is it immediately frames him as the reasonable business guy. So in some cases, people are like, I don't want to talk to your assistant. I want to talk to the talent. I want to, get to the heart. Like these guys are the business. But like this way, this business manager could be like, oh, those guys are totally unreasonable. You need to
Mm-hmm.
talk to me if you want to get anything done. But it also stopped them from overpromising or agreeing to anything that they shouldn't agree to.
Right, which is really good. And often there are times when people know that the actual creators of something, the actual people that are considered the talent, a lot of times they'll know if they're not really business oriented, and they'll try to take advantage of that. And then they get thrown off when either they find out otherwise, or when the person's like, "Oh, go talk to my people. I'm not going to talk to you. Go talk to them. They can figure it out."
Yeah, and
So,
so
I
that's one of
mean,
the things that
right.
like I'm kind of struggling with, because I have to be my own business guy.
Yes.
So I can't be too unreasonable and tell them go talk to my people. But I also have to hold my ground. And it's a
Right.
challenge, and that's one of the reasons that I don't really have very well, any sponsorships really. And I don't do a lot of these deals that other people make, because I feel like I know what I should get paid for those,
Hmm.
and I'm not willing to work for less to prove myself. I feel like I've already proven myself through my work, and
Right.
I've gotten this far by being stubborn. So, I'll just
Oh yeah.
like I'll just keep at it.
So so the question on the floor is, oh my God, that is, Brian, I just really read the question. Would you rather have Little Caesars pizza or Pizza Hut?
Neither of them is paying me to promote them, but
No,
here's
if
the
he
thing:
were to
is
eat
even
it.
if they tried, they're both trash. I'm not gonna
Thank
eat.
you.
Like I have some digestive issues where like if something is full of like preservatives or like all any sort of like nonsense, I get very sick. If I tried to eat either of those, I would not be able to keep it down, and I don't recommend other people try. Like, go to a pizzeria where people who live in your city buy the ingredients and make decisions for themselves and run a business, and give those people your money. Like, if people are like, Joe, which bookstore would you recommend? The nearest one to you, owned by someone who lives there. Like, and this is another thing that makes it hard for me to get advertisers, is because I'm sure there's some big chains or international book selling websites that would buy ads or whatever. But like, realistically, if you don't support local bookstores, you get the equivalent of Pizza Hut and Domino's and Little Caesars. And I don't want that. I don't want that for anyone.
Little Caesar's only good thing is crazy bread. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I'm not a big Little Caesars fan, even though my dad used to work there like 20 something years ago,
Mm-hmm.
as like a secondary job. I'm not a big Little Caesars fan. Like, I don't like how it tastes. And if I don't like what your main product tastes like, I'm not gonna try your side products.
Mm-hmm.
Cause no, like it's like, oh, our pizza's trash, but we got this, and it's just like, well, if you're supposed to be a I can't trust it. If you can't even make your main product good, I don't want nothing. But
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
pretty sure that there are other. So this is the problem. Is that for some people the crazy bread at Little Caesars is the closest thing to fresh baked bread they're ever going to eat.
Oh yeah, that's
So
true.
this is once again, what bakery do you recommend? The nearest one owned by someone in your town, because
Ooh,
otherwise we
that's
won't have
helpful.
any left. Like, uh, I don't know. Yeah.
Everything at Little Caesars is freshly made. I'm gonna be honest. The term "freshly made," even though I know you work there, Brian, the term "freshly made" is so overused and weird. I like. I I start cringing when people talk about freshly made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also like when it comes down to it, a lot of places have farmers markets. And my thing is until I see um more companies indulging in actual farmers markets and stuff versus just having truckloads of things coming, I don't really the term freshly made just doesn't hit. It's just kind of like, okay, I get it,
I mean, I
it's
can go to
freshly
the gas
made,
station and get a
but
freshly made hot dog if I'm there when they swap
yeah.
out the hot dogs on the rollers. But you know, like there's better ways to get hot dogs. Like, um,
Our beef at Wendy's is fresh. I'm dead. I'm not. Bama, what? Do you guys have cows in the back? And if that's nasty, I well, no, I don't know. So okay, so I was watching this thing about this. There's a tribe in Africa. They're actually the last hunting and gathering tribe. They're called the Hazabe tribe,
mm-hmm.
and they actually hunt and gather their food. Believe it or not, as like uncivilized as people, well, I don't even want to use the term uncivilized, but as I don't even want to use primitive because I don't think it's primitive. Well, we'll use primitive for face value because that's how people feel. As primitive as people think that Africa is, there's actually almost every single tribe no longer does hunting and gathering.
Mm-hmm.
The Hazabe tribe is actually one of the last tribes. They are actually being wiped out from their traditions because a lot of tribes that are doing farming and different things of that nature are taking over their lands.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching on YouTube, these guys went to go ahead and like visit the tribe, and they learned how to, they learned what they do in their day. To see them actually go around raiding baboon encampments of baboons
Mm-hmm.
and eating them was just like, oh my god. Like, and they were asking them, they're like, well, how do you feel about the city? And one of the guys he was just like, we don't trust the city, we don't trust the food is not fresh, we have fresh food.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they're right. There's nothing fresher than going out and finding your own baboon and eating it. Or they also eat giraffes too. I didn't know that people eat giraffes. They ate a giraffe. They took it down. They busted its kneecaps.
Wow.
And I was like, as weird as it may sound, being in a country that doesn't have that as the thought process, I was just like, that is actually fresh food. Like, they could honestly say it is fresh food.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was interesting, and they actually break down their own honeybee uh like bees nests and stuff like that. They eat some of the bees in there. I'm not with that part, but you know, whatever floats the boat. But they actually have fresh honeycomb and all of that. So when it comes down to like stuff being fresh, I'm just like, yo, how fresh is it? Is it like Hazave tribe fresh? Like, do you guys got the cows in the back?
Did you guys fight a
I'm at,
giraffe for
you know,
this?
yeah, yeah. You're gonna work in Africa so you could have fresh food. I mean, look, do your thing. I don't know. The animals fight back, by the way. It's not like they're just sitting up there just fighting the animals and the animals aren't doing anything. The baboons will fight you back. I don't know, like, uh, it's just so, I find it so interesting to find out about other cultures from all around the world, and it makes things it just makes me think more about how we're presented with things when we're younger. We're presented with, especially if you're in the United States, we're presented with like, us being so up to date, us always having the right answers and everything. But then you look at like other countries and other cultures and you're like, anybody could have the right answer for what works for them and what suits them. And you can't always say that just because you are more technologically developed place that you have the right answer.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I really enjoyed the video though, but I didn't know that on YouTube they could show everything because they definitely were skinning monkeys in there. I was like, this isn't. Is this allowed? I
Yeah, you
mean,
just
it
gotta
didn't get
mark it so that
reported.
you only get appropriate advertisers.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, like they ripped the tail off, and I felt it. I was like, oh,
Oh boy.
like but it was interesting, and it was also interesting looking at the comments where there were some people that were just like, this is not right humanely, but then there's other people that are like, what is considered humane if that's how you live?
Well, there's a certain level of like what scales and
Right.
what doesn't. Like for small groups of humans to live that way is a lot different from like if you think about like whaling, where you would have tribes rowing out in boats they made by hand and
Yes.
bringing back a whale every so often, versus once we had like whaling ships like in the Moby Dick era, where there were just fleets of ships traveling all over the world hunting whales everywhere to make candles and throwing. So that was like when people were hunting whales early on, they were using all of the meat and the blubber and everything, right? Whereas by the Moby Dick era, they were like, well, we mostly just want part of the whale so we can make candles. We'll put that in barrels and we'll let the rest of it rot on the side of the ship, or discard it entirely for the sharks, right? Like there's a certain kind of industrial scale wastefulness that kicks in. You know,
Yeah.
if McDonald's announced the McGiraffe rib, like they're not using the whole giraffe. Well, actually they are. They're grinding it up and reshaping it into rib shapes. So that's a bad example, but
That's sick.
you get the core concept.
Reference your tweet because that's funny.
Oh, how is that tweet doing? I clicked away. I forgot about it.
Your tweet is doing fairly well. That is funny. I can't, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's the tweet of the month. That is. I'm probably gonna bookmark that because it's funny.
Thank you.
Hey, this is.
I feel like this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like because the tweet I hand typed it with the capitalization error. That feels more artistic than copying and pasting that same text into Tumblr to see how it does there. because like we're entering, even though all of everybody who sees this tweet on their phones is seeing it via means of mechanical reproduction. The first tweet was handcrafted, and the second one was mechanically reproduced before it was published. Like, and that's gonna bother me. Like, it's got 129 notes on Twitter or Tumblr. I don't know if that's good. Somebody wrote "So True King" there too. I guess that's just the natural. Thanks for the notification, King. What? Emily W says, I can tell you it would do amazing on Tumblr. Incredimike says, put a screenshot of it on Tumblr. You're right, Incredimike. That's what I should have done. I would feel way better about that. But I've already posted the copied and pasted text.
It's been done.
So we've gone too far.
Oh, what is up, NJ? How are you? BT Dubs. I will make it up there for PAX East, possibly. Like, if things go the way that I think that they should go, then yeah. Oh my god, Joe. Joe, listen. Remember the last time me, you, and Cleo were talking about my soda choice as being the reason why I possibly was gonna be single for the rest of my life? Remember?
No, but I think that's
Okay.
an indictment of me that I say things that are that cruel without
Yeah,
remembering
I
it.
think that
That's
yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, but it was both of you guys. You guys are both heathens.
Okay.
So that is not true, okay? All right? So my soda choice did not scare away this guy, okay? And so eventually we might be married and I might be rich, right?
Oh, that's smart.
Despite my soda choice.
Yay.
I just really thought that it was like so hilarious. I was like, you know what, soda choices are interesting because I did ask him about like how did he feel about Mountain Dew, how did he feel about things and stuff, and like when I asked him about Mountain Dew, he made this face.
He's like,
I was like, oh my
my
god.
father was Bartholomew Mountain Dew, who actually built the mountain on which the first soda distillery was constructed. He used the remains of coal mines that had been excavated. People said it was worthless, but he said, no, I'll build my own mountain, and then we'll see what we can really do.
He told me Mountain Dew was trash.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He was like, Mountain Dew is trash, you're uncultured.
We tried to warn you, okay?
I was so upset. I was like, maybe they were right. We're just gonna end this conversation now. Oh my gosh. We all here are without husband. I'm dead. Right. See, you remember the conversation. But yeah, my soda choice is cool with Mountain Dew. I'm cool with Sprite, Mountain Dew, and I'm cool with Sierra Mist. Well, to some degree. It has to be a certain temperature.
If my Sierra Mist isn't nearly boiling, then the marshmallows won't melt.
You have a lot of good quotes today, don't you, Joe?
I made that up. I wasn't quoting nobody. Who do you think said that, Red
that's a quote
Skelton?
of you. If Red Skelton actually said that, that would actually be the most amazing quote ever, and I would probably have that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I told my kid, like, because I told my kid that we weren't gonna get the hot cocoa that came with the marshmallows in it because I didn't tell her this part, but the actual reason is I can tie the number of marshmallows she gets in her hot cocoa at the end of the night to like how many chores she did or something. If we buy a bag of marshmallows, right? If we're going out for a walk and I'm like, hey, I want to go for an extra mile or two, if you go for an extra mile, then you can have some extra marshmallows in your cocoa tonight. Or hey, if you help me with this thing that you don't want to do, you can have extra marshmallows, right? It's a
So you wagered the marshmallows against her. Okay. Uh-huh.
So anyway, when we got to the store last time, the only bag of marshmallows they had was like way more marshmallows than she could eat they'll go stale before, like, even if she's really good and really helpful, there's no way she's gonna have all these marshmallows in her cocoa before the bag goes bad. So I've started just like putting them in my coffee, and I don't normally like putting sugar in my coffee, but putting marshmallows in my coffee, that's a good one. I'm gonna recommend that. I didn't think to do that this morning because I was rushing to get the stream going, but
So does it make it like frothy or like what?
they just kind of melt on the top, and then I kind of like slurp them up, and then I put in another layer. That's the other thing is like they don't really mix with the coffee. They just float on top and are consumed, and then you throw more in. So like unlike mixing sugar with the coffee, where there's like theoretically a limit, like there's no you could just keep doing this. And that's how you get through a bag of marshmallows before you run out. Or before they
So
go stale.
send Joe marshmallows.
No,
That's what
don't send me
he
more. I'm
is.
trying to get rid of the ones we have.
That is
I have too
no,
many.
that is what he is saying. He is saying send him marshmallows. He is one with the earth. Send him marshmallows. So because of Joe, you have been converted to the Sundrop crew. NJ, really? You allowed him to convert you to this?
Did we get into
What's
sangria
the
last time?
faction? No. I don't
Okay.
no, we did not.
So, the one of the best things about Sundrop is it was originally designed to cut moonshine. Have you had moonshine before?
No, but I know the effects of it. I have
Well,
seen.
okay, so for those of y'all who out in the audience who have not consumed moonshine, it's basically the easiest, cheapest alcohol to make, but it tastes like furniture varnish, and that might it tastes. I have never actually had furniture varnish, but it tastes like furniture varnish smells, and it smells like furniture varnish. So, like you wouldn't want to drink it unless you didn't have a lot of options. Now, for people in Tennessee who didn't want to pay taxes to the federal government for alcohol, there weren't a lot of other options. So, Sundrop was originally created as something that tasted good in a way that would cut through the bad taste of moonshine. And you know what the absolutely bonkers thing is? It works. Now, it doesn't make me want to drink moonshine because I have other options, unlike those people who lived up in the hills years ago. But I realized at some point, I was at PlayOnCon, and one of my friends had this box of absolutely terrible wine. And he's just like, oh man, I bought this whole box of wine, but nobody wants to help me drink it. And I'm like, let me have a sip of that. I'm like, oh my god, no wonder no one wants to help you drink this. This is it tastes just as bad as moonshine, although in a different way, but it doesn't have the alcohol content by percentage or whatever, by volume. Like, there's no reason for anyone to drink this other than the fact you already bought it. And I got to thinking, I was like, what if we cut this with Sundrop? And
Wow.
this terrible boxed red wine, when cut with Sundrop, was actually delightfully drinkable. And I realized at that point, I was like, what if we go like one or two steps up here? What if we go from like the $5 box of wine up to the $15 box of wine? Which, maybe 20, depending if it's on sale. You cut that with Sundrop. That is good. And I call it a sangria. I think that might be the most lasting part of my legacy as a creator, is that I figured out how to mix red wine with Sundrop. And I've been telling people about this for years, and it's catching on. So,
Well, Joe, I know that you're not big into going, mainstream with things. I get it, you know.
You
I
couldn't
know you're not
can
big
this.
into it,
You need to have this be something you mix on the fly.
but I would like for that to be an official Joe Hills drink. Like,
Sangria, the official drink of Joe Hills.
right. I don't know how far that will go. I don't want kids to indulge, but
Yeah.
I I think that, you know, it needs to be said. It needs to be known that that was a you thing, cuz in 10 years, 15 years, I don't want people to coin it as theirs, cuz then I'm going to have to like go off on them and be
Oh
like,
yeah.
"No, you lie."
No, that's fair. Well, and here's the other
That
thing is
actually
if you're bringing
sounds
it to like a
interesting.
party or something in the
Mhm.
summer, you put orange slices in it. In the fall or winter, crisp apple slices, like basically as like a garnish for the drink. It's just amazing.
Joe, I lied. I'm probably going to just capitalize off of it. I need money.
Speaking of needing money, tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills at YouTube Super Chat.
If moonshine tastes like furniture varnish, oh lord. Well, okay, so let me explain to you something. So one thing about it, I don't like. I would never tell anybody to drink alcohol because that's just, you know, whatever, just for all purposes. Any children in the chat, I'm not going to ever tell you to drink alcohol ever. I will always be against it. I am still part of the dare program, even though I think that they've been abolished, but I'm still part of that program.
Mm-hmm.
However, um if you alcohol doesn't always taste good to everybody anyways, but they still drink it. So like the idea that moonshine is disgusting, mind you, I think people would make moonshine in their toilets or some mess like that. I swear that they did. Um People still drink it. It's like sometimes it's just the experience. Sometimes it's, you know, it's whatever you got going on. And if you live in some outback place where possibly there's Bigfoot running around, you would probably drink moonshine too with no issues. Even though it is very potent,
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
we'll buy it occasionally for like holidays, like for like because it is kind of to some degree a tradition around here to drink moonshine, but it's the sort of thing where we'll have a small amount of it as like part of that, you know, and we'll cut it with Sundrop. Uh, but it's not the sort of thing that like is on the shopping list every week.
Good. Cause that's wild. Mike, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I need to get my nails redone. I'm trying to come up with colors that I want. So if you guys have any color options, and don't say get it Christmas, like I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, for your
I don't.
nails?
Yeah,
If it
I
was
I get
me, I would go with chroma green,
uh-huh. Okay.
and then I would have it chroma out when I like do stuff in front of my face with my hands on the green screen.
Is this
Like my gloves. I've got these
like a
chroma green
thing of
gloves.
yours? Like is this what have you done this before?
I haven't like painted my nails, but like I've got like green mesh finger gloves and stuff here. So
Yeah.
if I was gonna paint my nails, I would go that way.
Interesting. Huh.
So the problem with anything like that is it requires maintenance. And I feel like I'm already overwhelmed all the time anyway. And so like it's not like, oh, I would never paint my nails. It's I don't have time to paint my nails as often as you need to in order for it to not look like garbage, right?
Right.
And once you start, you either have to then remove it or keep it up.
Exactly. And I'm just like for me, it really should be every 2 weeks, but sometimes I let it go for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Well, and
see
I
here.
started
We
shaving
are
again since
doing-
I cut my beard for that charity thing, and
Oh,
it's hard to remember to shave, and it's hard to make time to do it because I keep thinking of it when I'm about to do something else, and I'm like, well, I can't do it now. But it's not part of my routine to shave anymore, and it hasn't been for years, and so it's just hard to stay in that rhythm.
oh yeah, that makes sense. So a winter theme. I'm going to look into that. That teal copper patina color is one of my favorites. Ooh. You know, honestly, like I was talking to my dad like about just like like things that we do for ourselves just for our own benefits. Cause like trust me, you guys know me at all. You guys know most things I do, I never do for other people because at the end of the day, people always like to change their minds up anyway. So like I could do something that someone's like, "Oh, you should do it. It's cool." I do it, and then they're like, "Never mind," you know. So I always do stuff for myself. But like I was talking with him about like just the stuff that I've done for myself, and I told him I said I like getting my nails done. I do. I truly do. However, it's a lifestyle that you have to have money for.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, as the money dwindles, I'm going back to basic Betty. And like it was just like very interesting. Like he was like, would he ever take a seat back at shaving? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't deal if he didn't shave. Like my dad's beard is it would be a whole bird's nest, and I would be embarrassed to be seen with him anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That I would disown him. I would actually ditch him every chance I got because I know something would fly in there. Like I would expect a bird to be in there at every given moment. I don't know what I would do with myself. So I don't know. I think I would just give him like any money I got from content creation for him to get his face cut, beard cut. Sorry, not cut his face.
Yeah, I tracked it.
Well, if your dad always had a bird, that could be kind of fun.
Oh,
Ew.
but
Well,
what if you
yeah.
got to pick the bird? Like, what if you went bird shopping with him and found like a really colorful one that you liked?
So it could live in there.
Mm-hmm. That'd be like his new thing. He's the guy with the bird and the beard.
And that would be lucrative too.
He could do mall openings.
Yeah. Man, I'm about to tell him I have a ploy for his TikTok.
There you go.
Huh. Because my dad goes live on TikTok. I don't, it's so weird to even think about that. But yeah, he could be the Birdman. Yeah, Joe knows. Look, Joe knows everything.
I do what I can. So, one of the things you mentioned earlier before we started,
Mhm.
that we might talk about was possibly moving because you're having problems with your apartment complex or whatever.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to pitch the idea of moving to Nashville, and
Uh-huh.
this is partially a little bit self-interested. The state gerrymandered the city so that it's like our electoral boundaries look like somebody cut a pizza with the middle of the pizza being right in Nashville. So we just need to increase the number of cool people living in Nashville by about 3 or 5 times, and we'll then lock down all of those districts.
So okay. So yeah, so basically I should move to Nashville for for political reasons,
Well,
essentially.
what I'm saying is I'm encouraging people to move to Nashville for political reasons, but Nashville is a great place to be a self-employed artist because it is a
Oh.
hub of culture and the arts in general.
I mean, I was there for that one Minecon.
Mm-hmm.
Uh it was actually pretty it was a pretty interesting thing, and I stayed at the Hermitage Hotel and I did an escape room, and it was actually the place where I found out about reusable straws.
Ooh,
So, I
well, you can't put a
mean,
price on that.
yeah, I would say when it comes down to actually supporting creativity, supporting like new ideas in a sense. Yeah, possibly. But you're just trying to use it for political reasons. So it's like there's
Well,
also a side of me that's like, don't do it.
I would
Eh,
also actually hang out with you if you came here.
it would just be one of those things where it's like, Joe, I made it to Nashville. Okay, go register to vote. What?
Okay, but
Okay.
that's fair. Anytime somebody moves, you should tell them to register to vote.
It would be like we can hang out after you've registered.
That's just good
Like, all right.
citizenship. No, but um, I've been really hoping for years that Nashville would become more of a hub for new creative stuff because there's still a lot of music and whatnot here, obviously. Um, but like it seems like a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm gonna make it big on Twitch and then I'm gonna move to LA, and I'm like, don't move to LA, move here. Like, this is such a better city.
Like being a native Californian, even though I was from San Diego, not LA,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't become a content creator and just up and move to
It's like,
LA.
why
Not
would?
by yourself.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Like unless you're making that type of money, or at least you have some kind of support system emotionally and financially. Like I wouldn't say just up and move to LA as a content creator, because yeah, you can do a lot of great things. Like there's a lot of people who do a lot of great things. My friend Ayana actually moved to she's a deaf model, and she moved to LA and she's made it big.
Mm-hmm.
But it's as a content creator in LA, if you're not going to be one of those content creators who's constantly doing something, don't go to LA. You're going to be right back in your hometown because you're not going to have enough money. The money's going to run out. And before you have to do strange things, you might just go back.
There
It's
are other
expensive.
cities, you know? Because, like, some people, it's like if you grew up in the middle of nowhere, it's like, okay, this is finally my excuse to get out of the middle of nowhere. Well, that doesn't mean you have to jump straight to LA.
Right. Wait, voting registration does not move with you when you move. You have to move it yourself. Yeah, in a lot of case instances, yeah. Like I even had to move my voter's registration where I vote at a different place, and all I did was like move 20 minutes away. So normally that comes when you do the change of address. Normally. However, we're living in the times of the IRS being even more of a pain than it was before. And quite often they'll like screw you over and you're going to have to re register your registration. They're going to find some way to tell you that you're not registered wherever you're at.
Different states have different stuff for this. In some cases, you only have to re-register if you move from one county to another. In some cases, it's only if you had to move state to state. But yeah, even just moving across town, I had to update my address with the Department of Motor Vehicles, who then forwarded it to the voter registration people. But not every state will do that. Some cases you have to independently contact the voter
Yeah.
registration people.
Yeah, some places you have to do it a la carte.
Yeah.
The US doesn't make it easy to vote. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. The US makes it easy to do basically a lot of stuff that you don't want to do. It's annoying. I I was considering moving out of the United States a few times. It's like,
It's on my
but then
list.
it's like there are a few places where I was like, okay, yeah, it would be great to go, but I think I would want to do like a month-long excursion in a place before I decide I want to move there if it's like out of the country.
Yeah, my problem is I can't afford to take a month long excursion. Like, realistically, the only way I'm ever going to see Europe is if I move to Europe. And so, like, kind of my plan is once my daughter goes off to college, I'm going to move to Scotland
Oh.
and then try to explore Europe from there. Because, like, at that point, you can get on a boat or a train and go a lot of places
Ooh,
as, like, weekend or week long trips.
that's actually pretty nifty. You heard that Canada is great? Yeah, Canada is probably one of the close okay places to consider. Depending on which like province and stuff like that. I uh I don't know, like as much as I want to move out the country, um I just like I know how my parents are. I don't want these people to make a whole entire like week-long trip without telling me and then they show up in my new country. I want to
Well,
tell them
they
to go
would
back
need
to the
you to
United
like
States.
co-sign their visa or whatever if they're visiting you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So like you'd actually have some warning.
Good. So I'll keep them out. I'll be like, yeah, you can't come. Can't come to my country. No, I wouldn't do that. Well, no, I lied. I probably would. just just because. He also wants to own a Scottish castle. The Castle of Joe.
I mean, it'd be nice. I was thinking it'd be cool to do a YouTube series about restoring an old castle,
Ooh.
but that would be like if I was very successful. And
Right.
Cleo told me that I would never be able to afford this. And I didn't believe her. I was like, Cleo, I mean, there's got to be some random rundown castle that like I could buy up super cheap because they know it needs so much work. You
Random
know,
rundown
if
castle.
I was successful enough, it would enter the realm of possibility. And Grian uh was listening to the conversation and jumped in and was like, "No, you can't afford it. You will never be able to afford it." And I'm like, "Okay. Well, Grian is in a situation where I trust that he's actually looked at this. Unlike Cleo, who's just dismissing it out of hand. Whatever Grian's making on YouTube is probably my best case scenario, and if he's looked at this and can't afford it, then yeah, never mind. Dream's dead.
That is funny. Like I you know what, and honestly, I feel like the only way you would be able to do something like that is if you partnered with a company, like or like you partnered with like Discovery Channel or something like that. It wouldn't be a Joe only thing. Not saying that you could never do it,
Yeah. Well,
but
don't worry.
like,
Grian already said
you
that, and I
know.
believed him, so, you know. Dream is dead. But
like
realistically, I mean HBO is partnering with the Discovery Channel right now and it doesn't seem to be going well for them, so I think I'm going to not do that.
listen, you know, you just never know. The Castle of Joe sounds like a great children's book. The Castle of Joe. Joe eats spaghetti in his castle.
I'll be lucky
Spaghetti
to
Day
afford
is
spaghetti
every
at that
Tuesday.
point. It's like every dollar's going into this wood paneling. Eat your wood paneling, kids. This is why I have to wait till after my daughter goes to college. It's actually custody reasons, but yeah.
But I think that it would really be fun to explore living in another country, but like living in another country but having these amazing experiences. Like I would never want to move to another country if I thought I would just have the same exact experiences that I have now. Cuz I'd be like moving is already a hassle. I'm not going to move into the same. But like so like funny thing. So my boyfriend is Dominican,
Mm-hmm.
but he works as a an engine oiler person thing on like the the little dredges and stuff, and they make like waterways and everything underwater and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like telling me about different places where they have where he could work at. And so like one of the places where I looked at was Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know, Spain would be interesting. Like, what type of stuff do they do in Spain? And I started actually meeting people from Spain randomly. It was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And like, their experiences are so different. I was thinking to myself, I could do Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So I have started low key working on a Spain trip.
Woo!
And I think I'm gonna go broke and
Spain
not have
break.
any food while I'm there. So then I was thinking, well, if I have no food while I'm there, right? Um, if I go live every day, you know,
Yeah.
it's be a panhandler online.
Well, the problem with that is your visa might not allow you to work while you're on vacation there.
Oh.
So this is like a whole
Echoes
thing.
19.
Because I'm trying to figure out how to get over to England to do a party with my fiance, and her friends who can't necessarily afford to come to America for the wedding. And um, I just to be safe, I probably would not work while I was there at all, which is fine because I probably need a break anyway by that point.
Right.
But
I mean, it's your wedding.
realistically, when I budget for that trip, I have to budget not only how much does it cost to get there and pay for whatever I need while I'm there, but I also have to lose that income during that time. So I'm basic, and I'll whatever that trip costs, I'll probably I might as well double it because I'll be losing that amount of money by not working those days. So, uh,
Interesting.
but
I didn't think about that.
yeah, I mean, and there might be a way to do it where I can work, but I don't know enough about the visa stuff yet. I don't know. But then I also got to bring a bunch of gear with me cuz like
And if it's supposed to be your wedding, like, why would you want to?
well, no, this isn't for the wedding. This is like between now and the wedding. Trying
Oh, okay.
trying to get over there to do a party to meet the friends who can't come to the wedding.
This is interesting. I wonder. I wonder how you're going to, because I wonder if that is a.
I think like
Huh.
yeah.
Unless it's like you just can't make a certain amount of money.
Well, so what I'm probably going
Like
to
you
have to do
can
is
make.
just have it be a really short trip, which is kind of frustrating because it's like if you're paying all this money to fly to England, you want to stay for more than like 3 days.
Right.
But I I don't know that I can afford to not stream for a week straight, you know? So,
Oh.
it's like Incredible Mike says, I imagine you could still work since your business resides in the USA. That's what I'm hoping. I need to look into it more.
If not, he's gonna be Survivor Joe.
Akuinu says, if I go for a work conference, would that be an issue? Well, that's the other thing is there's actually like I think you need a different visa to go for a work conference than you do for a vacation, don't you? So I gotta look into like making sure I get the right kind of visa or whatever.
Because we don't need Joe to turn on his stream, and the next you know they get a knock on the door, and then
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, for the Chicago Pinball Expo, I drove like 12 or I drove like 9 or 10 hours there and 9 or 10 hours back to be there in Chicago for like 30 hours. So,
oh,
I mean, taking a 9 or 10-hour flight to England for a couple days and then taking a 9 or 10-hour flight back isn't really that different, but like it feels wasteful in a different way because the plane tickets are so much more expensive than driving.
right.
I don't know.
Spaghetti Joe. I believe in Spaghetti Joe. I think that Joe should come out with his own spaghetti line. Um,
Spaghetti's already in
called
lines. It's hard to
Well,
bust
it
into
doesn't
that this
matter.
time.
It's your own spaghetti line.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be something about it. Oh, wait, no, I think that's been done.
I think people
I
just like it
don't
because it
know.
rhymes with SpaghettiOs.
Yeah. But see, I don't want you to have like I don't want it to taste like SpaghettiOs. Not saying that SpaghettiOs taste disgusting, but like it needs to be more spaghetti-y than O-E. Like like this like it's in the shape of your face. I don't know if that's creepy.
Okay, people are saying ask you advice from other YouTubers who go to England and make videos there. Well, that's the thing is I don't know offhand who they are, but then somebody added up Shubble specifically comes to mind. I could ask
Ooh.
Shubble. That is thank you. That is actually actionable advice. When you're just like ask a YouTuber, I'm like yeah, cuz like yeah.
Spaghetti Joe's would be chroma green. Oh my goodness.
Everybody loves green pasta. Wait, actually that is the thing, isn't it? There's like a green pasta. What is that one called?
Isn't it? Uh, I know it has to have a something. I know it's there's the ones that are like corkscrew shaped that are green.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking
just
of.
don't know the name of it.
I don't know the name of it either.
Zucchini spaghetti. I'm sure that like vegans have created something like this. But yeah, there is oh my gosh, it tastes so good too. It's like there's a mix of them that you could get too, and it'll be like green, I think like a tan or a light brown one. It comes inside of its own thing.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I think creating content while traveling is an amazing luxury that I appreciate all content creators that are able to do so, because you're also giving like you're giving good insight to other places and other cultures for a lot of viewers. So if you're able to create content while traveling, I appreciate you so much,
Well,
and
to
I
some degree,
probably will
in
use your
my case, the
content.
question is like, uh, can I travel without making things while I travel? Because like when I was on my daughter's fall break trip, which was like a 10-day road trip we took, people were like, Joe, why are you streaming? You should be enjoying your vacation. And I was like, I literally could not afford to leave Nashville for this vacation if I didn't stream. Like, even though I was only streaming like half the nights I normally streamed, like it was that it was make or break. Like, it's it's not a luxury to stream when I'm on vacation. It's a luxury to be able to leave town. If that, I don't know how to frame that. Like, does that make sense? But like, I only get
Yeah.
my kid for fall break every other year, so I didn't want it to just and like the last time, because of COVID, we couldn't go anywhere or do anything, right? So I just really felt like I wanted to take this opportunity to take her some places. Like, we got to go to Niagara Falls, which was really cool. Got to go to Massachusetts. Got to visit the John Glenn Visitor Center, because she loves NASA stuff up in Cleveland. Like, it was a good trip, but like I I agree with people that it would probably be better for my sanity if I actually took vacations where I did zero work. But like, in that case, if I was waiting for that, I would never take those vacations.
Right.
That's just one of those things that I keep thinking like next year I'll be able to afford it. But then next year shows up and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have to spend money on other things." Womp womp.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why like as much as people tell content creators, self-care, make time for yourself, enjoy your vacation, not every single creator really has the ability just to take a week off, just to take a week or two off. And it would be great. It would really be great to be able to, but you can't always do that. And I know it sounds foreign to so many people.
Well,
Um,
especially in
but
Europe where they get like a month of paid vacation if you have a day
God, they
job.
do. They're like, I'm on holiday. How long is holiday? 2 months. Okay, buddy. I'm happy for you.
And here's the thing though, is I want that for everyone. I'm not saying like, oh man, it sucks that they have it, screw them. I'm saying like, I I I want that. I want to
Yeah,
be.
it
I
would be
feel like I would do a better job the other 10 months of the year if I had 2 months of vacation time. Um, One of my friends is a nuclear pharmacist, and they get a stupid amount of vacation time because if they're stressed out and make a mistake, it can be deadly and
wow.
in all sorts of exciting ways. So he's in one of the rare. He works for one of the rare companies in America that, like, at least in his job, like
Hmm.
they force people to take time off. Because they don't want to have radiological accidents, right?
Right.
And so he's constantly like, "Hey, I'm going to Japan for 2 weeks. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Of course I want to come, but I can't." And like, um, yeah, it's like, okay, well, how about we're going skiing in Colorado for 10 days in December? I'm like, nah, I can't do that either. well, that's okay. We're doing it again in February. I'm like, oh my God. I can't do that one either. I can't do any of that. And it's like, this is this guy's life. And like, that's incredible for him. I'm very happy for him. But like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, how do I get one of those a year? And I can't
Right.
even see a path to that. Right? Like, it's just like I'm just telling myself, like, if I just keep working hard, eventually it'll pay off. But I mean, it might not. I might never get to go with him to Colorado or Japan ever. And I just need to make peace with that because that's how this is. Like,
Well, I think that you will be able to. I truly do think that you will be able to. It just you just have to do your own course,
yeah.
unfortunately. But I really do think that you'll be able to. Just like how I think that you'll be able to like come up with your own, like, you know how you love your pinball and everything,
Yeah.
right? Like you'll be able to come out with like your own thing of pinball machines, and like people will buy them and want to have the Joe Hills experience. Like I do think that you will be able to do these things. It just sucks that it's like during the journey of trying to do a lot of things, like the pandemic hitting was just like ew,
Mm-hmm.
like good lord. So anything that a lot of people were working on, it's like a lot of people had to take a major reset, and we're still trying to recover. I know that there's other people that are like, oh, I got a new job, so I'm good, but like not everybody's having that same experience. And I would love that for you to be able to explore all of your wants and the excursions and everything like that. So I think you're going to be able to do it.
Well, and like I said, I feel like a realistic plan is move to Scotland when my kid goes to college. That's something that's it's there's parts of Scotland that are on the train line into Edinburgh, but not necessarily in Edinburgh, that are cheaper than where I'm living now. And
Oh,
then from
wow.
there, I'll have a major city nearby, but I'll also be able to travel to the rest of Europe. But like, I've just given up on this being plausible in the meantime. Like, it's just like I'll deal with this in a decade.
That is so terrible. No.
That's what.
Oh.
That's a reasonable. Like,
I
I'm
I know
setting reasonable
it's
goals
just
for myself that are
it's just
achievable.
upsetting though. But it's upsetting in a decade. I mean,
Well, because there's
granted,
there's no way for me to do it this year. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to make sure I make rent for this month. You know, like going.
I say within 5 years you could take a good trip. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do that. Not a whole decade. That's 10 years, Joe.
Well, it'll be a lot.
10 years.
Yeah, but that's when my expenses will drop off significantly, because that's when my kid will be at college.
Well, yeah, but I think that you're gonna be able to do it before she goes to college. That will be your achievement unlocked, is that you're going to do it before she goes to college. You're going to be proud of yourself that you're able to do it, and you're going to be able to do it to where when you come back you're not going to be scrambling around like how much money was spent. You're just going to be like, okay, I'm back, guys. Oh,
I'm a
agreed,
little
Janine.
dubious, but I
No,
appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate the encouragement.
that's going to be you, and if it's not, I'll just make up in my head that it happened and greet you like you were on vacation for in a foreign country. So if I was just like, oh yeah, I'm so glad you had a great trip, don't ask what trip, just don't. Just know that mentally, for me, you took a trip.
Sky9's44 says expenses don't stop at college. Uh, I mean, the expenses around, like, right now I have to live somewhere that there's good public schools or pay a ton of money for private schools. That's a thing, you know. But I don't know. Like, I mean, I've already, I've, I'm not gonna worry about it. Like,
I
right,
vote for International Joe. Okay. I
right now,
vote for it.
everything about my finances is shaped by trying to get my kid a good education and the custody agreement, because it's like I have to live within. I have to live near an airport that has flights to where her mom lives, and like there's a bunch of stuff like that. So it's like I can't move somewhere cheap the way that I would like to without incurring a bunch of other expenses
Right.
that would
Which makes sense.
zero it out anyway. At that point, there's no more custody agreement, so I can make decisions for myself. And like, I don't know. I kind of feel like the expenses stopping at college thing. Like, I'm not gonna worry about that because realistically, um, like her new stepdad makes such a stupid amount of money that she's not going to get any financial aid from any university. Um,
Right.
Now
That
she
makes
can't
sense.
necessarily count on that side of the family to kick in toward college, but even if I tried, I would come up short at that point. So she's kind of on her own. Like, good luck at the state schools, or hope that they open their wallets, because you know I would be able to help if the financial aid was only based on my finances, but it won't be. So,
Right.
you know,
Which is
like
a
if
caveat.
I'm gonna come up 35 grand short no matter what I do, I don't there's no sense in trying. Like I'm just resigned to the fact that I'm just not gonna be able to pay for her college, and she's gonna have to sort that out with whatever makes sense at the time. I don't know what government programs will be available then. I don't know what scholarships will be available then, but you know, that's actually a good point in favor of us moving to Europe is she might be able to go to school for free if we move to Europe.
Yes. Oh my gosh, all of my gamer friends that live in the UK, they have been telling me about how their schooling is set up, and I'm like, wow. So now all of those people I went to school with that went abroad
Mm-hmm.
like the last year or right after, I'm like, they really did, like they really had a plan. Because if you do things correctly over in the UK when it comes down to schooling, you can literally go to schooling for free for a little bit. Even if it's just if you just want to go to like technical school or something like that, you could still do all of that for free. Their school system is set up so much better. I envy them. Like I low key want to lie on some paperwork and say I'm 18 again and go to school. Just go over there and go to school. So yeah, they make me want to commit fraud. I do. I'm not proud of it, but you
Oh,
know,
that's like that there's some sort of greeting card angle there. Like, you make me want to commit fraud. Like, I think that's a
yeah.
Valentine's card, probably.
Well, you know what? Then
There's just something there's
they will
something
get that.
criminally endearing about it. Um, so
Satellite, don't put the police cat in the chat. Look, it's regular fraud. And to be honest with you, as long as I don't do too much or make too much money or like put it out there too much, they'll never know.
mm,
They'll never know. Like I could come off as an 18-year-old. I definitely can. Cause like I'm very immature. So I could do it.
sure.
I will
And you know
know
what TikTok
this
is already? You mentioned it earlier. That's true.
right. Right. Like I will like you know what? If I were to like have to change my age that drastically, I would actually come up with a whole entire facade. Like and I would still keep up JaneyLaney and this other facade at the same time. And you guys would like never make the correlation. Like I would be working that hard. And then at the end of my journey, I would come out with the book. See, this is how you do things. You do a bunch of illegal stuff and then you come out with the book later. Now
Mm-hmm.
you can make a reference to that however you want to make a reference to it, but there have
Fake
been quite many
Abagnale, O.J.
people. Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Uh,
And so like then it was like my journey will be glorified within this book. like generational wealth. Okay, so I need to commit fraud. So justification. Yeah. Let me clip this. What?
Yeah, people are generating evidence right now. You're the one generating the evidence. They're just copying it down. I always tell people, I'm like, don't talk about crimes that you plan to commit in my streams or Discord. I have to delete it because I don't want to get subpoenaed.
That is funny. Launch a book or go on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, like yeah, I need my backstory to be ultra glorified so that people see why I did what I did. And then they recognize that it's okay. Um, but that's just, that's just in case I really had to. Which, by the way, if you guys are actually interested in furthering your education, but maybe you don't have enough money to do so, a few people in my chat the other day were giving some good resources. I'm probably going to put them on Twitter this weekend. We're giving some good resources on how to take free courses online in various fields, including like IT, and some other technical fields. So I there are resources for people who want to get a free education, and maybe unfortunately you just can't afford it, which a lot of people really can't afford this education in America anyways. I don't know. It's I just think to myself, and I told my dad, I was like, I've never been arrested. Like, I cried one time when I thought I was gonna get arrested for something because I just thought I was gonna get arrested. But
Mm-hmm.
like, if I were to get arrested, okay, if I were to, I did it. I did it. 9 times out of 10, I did it. I'm not gonna run from the people. Did it? Like, yeah, I did it.
See,
But it
running
would
is how you
probably be
avoid
fraud.
getting arrested, though, Janie.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you never know what may come about. Where it's just like, oh, well, you
Okay.
know, I probably thought of. All I know is I'm not gonna write it down because then that's what you call it, predetermined or
Premeditation.
yeah, premeditation, yeah, like, and usually that's when things get even worse. So I'll just do the one where I just pop up and do it, right? And I didn't have anything listed in any journals or anything like that. There's no secret diary. They're not gonna find out nothing. It's just I just did it, and I'll get less time because I didn't plan it. I was trying to explain auditing college classes to my grandparents, and they kept posting out that I wouldn't get the credits. They really couldn't grasp that I wanted to learn. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that there are various things that you could learn without actually obtaining, I guess, credits college wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there are a lot of college credits that people have that actually amount to nothing because it has nothing to do with what they're going to do in life.
Well,
Um,
like when I would go to professional conferences for programming, I wasn't getting like credit for attending those lectures. But the stuff that I learned during the lectures at those conferences let me do a better job at my work,
right.
you know? So, like, sometimes stuff like that can be directly applicable. But
Yeah.
when I go to lectures around town here, like, for example, oh gosh, we'll have like random like civil rights leaders and stuff like that because a lot of them came up in Nashville as part of SNCC, the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee. They'll just be like, "Hey, I'm giving a talk at this random church." And I'll see it on Twitter and I'll go to this random church and I'll sit in the back and listen to this talk with my kid. I'm not That's not going to help me with my career in any way.
Right.
And I'm not getting credit toward a degree in any way, but I feel like it's important to learn from people who participated in things and moved things and changed the world. It can be inspiring and it can be thought provoking. So like I think a lot of the assumption like you're not going to get credit for that comes from people assuming this lecture is going to be worthless in every way. You're not
Yeah.
going to you're not going to learn anything helpful for your work. You're not going to experience anything thought provoking or interesting. So you might as well get a piece of paper. And and honestly, if you're not getting any of those three things, you probably shouldn't be going to the lecture. But if you're getting at least one of them, it has a value.
Yeah, like I'm a big believer that life experiences can actually uh they're as important. Well, I believe that they're more important than just, oh, well, what can you write down on paper to make people actually act like they want to hire you or something? Because there's people who have a lot of background that still don't get hired. And they have degrees and everything, master's degrees. I know some people with doctorates who have been turned down for jobs within their career path. So, but like having that experience of even just knowing something different can open up the doors to other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I have a friend who she wanted to go to school for art. Well, while she was going to school for art, she found out about welding because welding is actually in a lot of big art structures too.
Yeah,
And
metalworking
that
is.
got her into architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's an artist who is actually big into architecture. And she helps people in foreign countries come up with better ways of like providing better routes for like schools and businesses and everything like that, just because she went and did an art major that everybody said she would never get paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like sometimes when people tell you, oh, well, that's not going to be a credit, blah, 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 blah. If it's something that you truly want to do and experience, your credit will come. Your credit may not be the credit that somebody else wants, but you're not somebody else. And I know it sucks when it's like family members, especially older family members that say that, because a lot of us, we're just gonna be like, I don't want people to feel like I let them down, or maybe they were gonna help sponsor you with some money if you did X, Y, and Z. But um sometimes you just have to kind of sell people on things. Like my parents, they don't mind that I do video games and do things like this for a living. They don't mind. They don't mind at all because they know I have a purpose, and my purpose, although it may not be their purpose, it works for me, and I believe in what I'm doing. So sometimes that's what you have to do. Other times you just do whatever you got to do, and then when they see that you're like making a difference that they could cope with or whatever, then they start to get with the program. But it does suck when you're trying to do things. The people around you are just like, oh, that's not lucrative. Are you getting paid for that? Are you gonna get paid for that? It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, so I know, Joe, one of the things you wanted to ask me about was about the NATO and UN
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. So tell us about this.
So this Saturday is the kickoff um for Metaverse Safety Week, which Metaverse has nothing to do with Facebook. Okay, I'm letting you guys know this now. Metaverse has nothing to do with Meta. Meta decided to coin the term for themselves because they're weirdos.
But wasn't
Um,
it already like it
they
was
know
a
nothing
coined
about
by
the
a
metaverse.
sci-fi writer. They just
So
decided to
basically, what
trademark
happens
it.
is every year there is a safety week where the company um that I advise for holds all different types of talks and little things of that nature for people to understand the importance of safety. Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Just
hear
want
you.
to
Can
make
you hear
sure.
me?
Wait, I can't hear you. Please hold. because I broke it.
Well, you can't hear me anyway. Thank you to Anachronistic Cat for tipping 4. Let's rotate the camera
Okay,
4
hello?
degrees. Do 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 do.
Testing,
Can you hear me
testing.
now?
I think that Joe will come on very soon.
Okay,
It's just me and my
I'm
headsets.
gonna end the call and call back.
So I'm gonna keep talking.
Okay, I'm calling back.
Woo.
Did this work?
While I make sure that the audio wants to cut in.
Okay, I'm gonna go type in her chat.
But basically
I can hear you.
they do this safety week every single year. And what ends up happening is that we have partnered up with various companies. Um, some of them have been international companies. I can wait. I can hear you. Whoops. Wait, can you hear me? Unclear why you can't. Oh, it's me. It's me. It's literally me. I know it's me.
Okay, can you?
Okay, I hear you now.
You can hear me now? Yay! Okay. Yes, I could hear you the entire time.
Okay. So we started pairing up with other companies, even other countries, to get the word out that all of this tech that we're doing, it needs to be safe. We all know that the internet's not safe anyway. Okay, everybody that tries to protect their information, your information's already out there, but we're just trying to make it safer. So this weekend on Saturday, I'm going to be moderating a panel between some people from the UN and from NATO, which are collective groups of countries who have come to an agreement to have talks with each other and all of that. So that we can actually talk about human rights within the metaverse. And for me, it's very important because as we have all of this new technology, we we don't need things like Facebook, like the Facebooks, the Amazons and Twitter and all that. We don't need that type of weird I want to control you energy in this new technology. Regardless of whether or not you use VR, in the next upcoming years, these other technologies are going to play a part in what we do for our everyday business. So we're going to be talking about human rights, and one of the people I'm talking to is also a human rights activist as well. Um, I'm actually really nervous, super nervous to be talking and moderating with them because it's like these are world leaders,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm not. I've spoke to people in governments before, but these are world leaders where I'm like, if I say the wrong thing, knowing how jokey I am, I could start something. So
Well, I'm gonna assume that you're not gonna intentionally start an international incident.
hopefully not.
Is this gonna be live anywhere, or is this a, like behind closed doors thing?
Yeah, it's gonna be live. I'm gonna put up the information, I think, on tomorrow. I'm gonna be putting up the information. So we're just like solidifying, making sure that everyone is going to be able to like participate all the way and stuff like that. But yeah, it will be held publicly.
Well, if it's being held
Which is
publicly,
great.
they're all gonna be on their best behavior and trying to avoid causing any international incidents anyway, right? You don't have to worry about the Greek representative and the Turkish representative coming to fisticuffs because you made a comment about Cyprus. I would recommend avoiding the topic of Cyprus, though, if the Greeks and the Turks are both there. Just pro tip. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I think that could be pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't worry too much about, like, these being, like, oh, these are world leaders or whatever. But, because, like, a lot of times, these are people who are basically just like us, but got luckier on the parent lottery.
Right.
You know? That there this is not something where, like, if you were giving a talk to engineers who design graphics drivers about, like, the implications of their work on human rights, like, they're going to be some of the smartest people in the world, because designing drivers for video cards, you have to really understand a bunch of things about software and about math and a bunch of stuff. But like, these people were just selected to represent their countries. That could be anybody,
Right.
right? You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's funny because like some of them I've seen some of their VR avatars and they're so hilarious. It's just so nerve-wracking though because it's kind of like this is just something I haven't done publicly before.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's also kind of funny because like it's great to see like people who represent countries just being themselves. It's
Mhm.
really great to see it. I
Well,
want it to get down before my ADHD brain loses the thread. Oh no. You're good. You're good. You're good. Uh Sky, do you have a Twitter by chance? I
Janey will
can
probably
drop.
announce this on Twitter. Well, let me link to Janey's Twitter. Oh, this is a good excuse for me to go check out my fly below the radar.
Why do you need a good I'm done. Not you trying to look for a good excuse.
I'm gonna go find you on Twitter so I can post a link for people to find you when you post the dates, right? Or the
Yes. I
is it
will
just JaneyLaney? No, is it Janey_Laney? I never remember where the underscore is in each of your
it's
things.
it's underscore JaneyLaney.
The underscore is
You
at
know
the
what?
beginning.
One of these days. Oh yeah. You could always feel free to DM me. Wait, I have to be careful. Always feel free to DM me about sensible things. Yes.
Okay, I'm posting your Twitter.
So I just
Metaverse
posted
Safety
the
Week.
general link for all of Safety Week. But also yes, you can message me on Twitter so I know like who to send the direct
Well, no.
links
Post the
to
link
when I
on
say something.
Twitter when you go live.
Okay. Well,
Like, announce
yeah,
it the day before. Like, hey, I'm going to be
but
presenting.
still, like even if there's certain people that need extra notifications, I'll
No,
send it
no,
to
no.
them
You
too.
have to. You have to let people set their own alarms and manage their own
Okay,
calendars, right?
fine.
Like,
So, guys, if I don't send you guys anything, blame Joe. No, I really will be. I'm really going to send it out the on tomorrow, and then again probably on Friday, and then
mhm.
Saturday morning. Oh no, you look. You could actually DM me if, say, for instance, you even want to ask things about like random stuff. You could always DM me on Twitter. Just don't ask me scary stuff. But yeah, but I'm really excited and really proud to do this because human rights is something that I'm very big on, and the last thing that I ever want to happen is for all of this new emerging tech to I mean, we already know things are going to go wrong because, people are just people, but I never want to be a part of the problem, and I want to try to come up with solutions before they happen. And even if this doesn't go anywhere, it's still really great for leaders to come together and brainstorm in ways that things could be safer for other people. Teach us about taxes, don't cheat on them.
Yeah,
That's the most I could tell you. Most
yeah,
people cheat on taxes, but
yeah.
don't
And
cheat on them.
people joke on Tumblr like Joe Hills is the hermit most likely to pay his taxes. It's like, I have enough stressors in my life. I know that there are some games that are for people who are born into wealth and some games that are for people who are not.
Don't
I am
baby.
not born into wealth. I cannot get away with cheating on my taxes the way some of these big fancy families up in New England can. Like, you know, my last name isn't Adams. Um, despite my Gomez costume, like, uh, you know, I'm not rolling that way. There's no way, oh, if you listen to like most comedians like sets, by the time they hit their 40s, they're like, oh yeah, here's this time that I didn't disclose my tips to the government and got screwed by the IRS. Like, just freaking just tell them how much money you made every year and pay the taxes.
Right.
That's it. Like you can, if you have a lot of money, you can hire an attorney to like move a lot of it around. It's like, well, we bought you this let's see, paramedics helicopter for $3 million, but there's a tax break for any hospitals that buy helicopters like this. Technically, you're also a hospital now, but like, I don't make money like that. That's not just you should have better enemies than the IRS. If you are wasting your energy fighting the IRS, you are losing at life. You are wasting the time you have here on this earth. Get
Right.
better
And
enemies. Put your
I
energy toward
understand
them.
that things do happen because I've been behind on taxes before, but I literally didn't have the money, but surprisingly enough, the IRS actually kind of is understanding if you communicate with them a bit,
If
you
you
know.
tell them I owe you $5,000 but only have 3,000 today, they'll set you up with a payment plan. If
Exactly.
if you tell them I owe you $3,000 when you actually owe them 5,000, you screwed up. Like, just don't, like, there are better institutions to lie to than the IRS.
Right. And
Don't waste
people
your
think
time.
that when the IRS doesn't say anything, that it's fine. They build cases up against you. It's like one of those things. Like, why do you think a lot of these celebrities, all of a sudden, news comes out that they're millions of dollars behind on taxes? They just build a case against you. They may not say something to you the first couple of years,
No.
like, because why would they say something to you when they know that this could be a great story in a couple of years? And just let it keep rolling around. Like, I think when it comes down to taxes, it really does prove how much of an adult, uh just how mature you can be. And like I said, they understand that not everybody has money. They understand it, not saying, it always feels good to tell in a company that you don't have the money, but they understand it. Just do what needs to be done. No, you cannot DM me about help with your taxes, but what I will say is if you are a business owner, look into filing quarterly if that's something that suits you. So you
Well,
can
you have
always
to
find out,
file
you know.
quarterly, or if you're making above a certain threshold.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you have to.
that's what
There's no
screws
way.
over a lot of creative people, is they don't realize when they quit their day job that they owe quarterly taxes. So, yeah. Y'all pay your quarterly taxes.
Like, I know that, like, for me personally, I'm about to be in quarterly tax arena.
Mm-hmm.
Um
January
just
15th.
with like just with like, with how everything has shifted with everything. But yeah, like, you just have to be honest. Like, the IRS, I'm gonna be honest, like, if you ever want to scam people, don't scam the IRS. They know. All right, you think that they don't, they know. Not saying I agree with scamming entities, but they're just not the right way to scam. I'm not going to give you guys a list of entities to scam. I'm not a scam artist. Has not resorted to such things at this moment. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I joked, but I'm also starting freelance work, and I only have the foggiest idea about how to handle my taxes. And like Joker, I don't want to mess with them. Um, there's a lot of free online resources to kind of like explain how taxes, especially in your city, state, everything like that, to explain how that would work for the freelance person. But also, just like, sometimes you could just call.
Yeah.
Uh,
State
there's
income
just so many.
taxes are a whole different kettle of fish, too. Um, so, like, in Tennessee, we don't have a state income tax, so I only have to worry about the federal level stuff.
Oh, you guys don't either? Shoot, I might move there.
Hey, we also have all sorts of fantastic museums. We've got a symphony. We've got an
Back to
independent
the
movie theater.
taxes. You're trying to. You just have to vote today. Just go and register to vote today.
Well, also, I legitimately would be thrilled if this city became a hub for all sorts of art. Because, like, like creative stuff like we're doing, there, I don't know. It feels like I said, there should be a place that's halfway between I'm stuck in my small town forever and I move to LA or New York.
There has to be, and I mean, there are little. niche places, but it would be really nice to see like these other places be the next it thing. Especially because like these other places, they're so desensitized to creatives these days. Nobody cares. He's like, I'm an aspiring actress in LA. So like, okay. So is everybody else. So is the woman who works at the gas station. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but you go into these other places where things are a little bit more fresh and new, and with places that support actual creativity instead of just supporting how lucrative the creativity can be.
Hmm.
Um, because I mean, I will be making my way back to Tennessee at least for like a week though. Because I'm sorry, Tennessee was actually really nice. I also wanted to go. I need to go back to Chattanooga. Um, First and foremost,
Hmm.
I have some unfinished business. Chattanooga, it's really great.
Chattanooga is
Um,
great. Two of my siblings went to college there.
really.
Yeah, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. They've got a really good chemical engineering program.
Oh,
So that's the
yeah,
thing is like, you know,
a lot of stuff.
I want to encourage my daughter to do whatever she wants to do, but if she can't afford anything else, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga's chemical engineering program is it's a bargain. It's a bargain. Uh,
Yeah, I'm always thinking there can be more cities to be built up rather than furthering plundering of our small towns. Yeah, and it's, you know, a lot of it just has to do with like how we respect the land and how we respect each other. Because a lot of times we just have so much disrespect for the land and for each other. It gets out of hand. It's just trash. And and then you have these like places just get overrun by humans, and things just start looking very small in that area, and then taxes go up and all this stuff. So like I said, I'm from San Diego. If I could afford to move back, oh, I so would. But I can't. Like, oh god, I can't.
mhm.
Can't afford to move back and be comfortable. Like, I guess I could essentially move back if I, well, thank thankfully in San Diego, if you actually were a homeless person, you could actually have a career as a homeless person. Like they support their homeless, surprisingly. That's why a lot of states will ship homeless people on a like on a bus
Mhm.
and drop them off in San Diego, cuz you could get EBT, you could get into a home rental program and all that stuff being a homeless person.
Yeah, see, that's
And
a hard sell for the
yeah.
custody judge, though.
See, well, yes.
So I'm gonna
I would
probably
not,
not do that.
I would not recommend that you do that.
Okay, well, you know what? I usually just do whatever anyone suggests, whether they're joking or not. But you know, I've had to dial that
Well,
back.
it would make for a good YouTube series, though.
I don't know. I feel
Joe tries to be
like
homeless.
making a YouTube series about pretending to be homeless
The
feels
world,
feels like exploitative.
but the world today,
Okay, yeah, but
some
just
for
because
whatever reason, they would like it, but then they wouldn't support
the
the nearest homeless person that they saw. It is so weird, so
the fact
backwards.
that the world today has people who would want to watch something that's terrible doesn't mean I should make things that are terrible. I guess is kind
Make
of how I
terrible
feel.
things, Joe.
Uh,
Terrible things. Joe goes homeless. I want to go into urban design, and I think having a good train system so you could work in one city and live in the other. I mean,
I
I
wish we
like
had a good
people
train system.
who are into urban design, who are into actual city planning for the good.
Hmm.
I like that type of stuff because it's, you know, some of the best things that we could ever think of is how we can make um life better for people regardless of their financial state, regardless of their mental state and stuff. How can we make things better for all of us? So I like that idea. Just keep in mind the goals and the dreams that you have now. Even if in 5 years something happens that may disrupt them. Just stay true to your goals and your dreams. Um, because those are going to be what actually drives you. And if you lose sight of your goals and dreams, you're actually going to feel lost. You can have a lot of money and still be lost because you lost sight of your original goals and dreams. If that's what you want to do, I say go ahead and do it.
Well, I would say
Mm.
there's a big asterisk on that. Like, it's okay for your goals and dreams to change if you realize they were initially selfish or naive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
if they're wild, don't
it's
do it.
like the advice: be yourself, unless you were raised somewhere super racist. In which case, be better. Like,
See, that, but isn't that like kind of trippy though? Like, be yourself, however, still understand how society works, and maybe if society changes a bit,
understand
you
that
might
your
have
young
to.
self was shaped by a really terrible society that you didn't choose to be born into, and then opt to improve yourself. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, but these are my values and my traditions. It's like, no, these were the people around you's values and traditions. You didn't choose to be born around them, but you can choose to embrace or walk away from them today. Right?
Right.
Like they are not intrinsic to you. They were just what you happen to be around. Like, you have
Right.
the agency to determine that you can grow. The
Once you know better, do better.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
So,
you end up knowing better. But if what you want to do in life though is like something that it really does speak to you and it's not like evil, damaging and all that stuff, then I would say, go for it. But then again, I was also the type of person that would take jobs just because like for like weird reasons. Like when I wanted a brush because I saw this girl on YouTube with this brush and they're like, "Oh, you can get out Ulta," and I found out that Ulta was opening. I decided to apply to work there so I could get a discount
mhm.
on the brush.
Oh, well, the last place I
Yeah.
worked, they bought my previous employer, and
Ooh.
I wasn't gonna go along with it until I found out that they were descended from the company that had created Ernest, from like
Oh,
Ernest Saves Christmas and Ernest Saves
yeah.
Halloween and stuff. Um,
Different.
yeah. So I was just like, even if the people who created Ernest don't still work there, there might be still something positive in the kind of the DNA of the company, the values, the, you know what I mean? Like the sorts of
Yeah.
people that those people hired and the impact they had in decision making. And I want to check it out. I'm dubious, but I'll give it a go. And objectively, the people that I worked with there, that was the largest company I've ever worked at where I liked everyone.
Wow.
They had like 80 or 90 employees, and everybody I met, I was just like, this person is fantastic. Now, of course, in any business, you're not going to agree with all the business decisions or all the choices or
Yeah.
whatever. But like in terms of like who they hired, they're like, I was like, they're good at hiring, and they got me. So I mean, clearly they were doing something right.
Yeah, Joe, like surprisingly, I actually trust your judgment in a lot of things. I feel like if you do something, even though you may not be like a full-fledged like genius, because I don't think a lot of people are in all aspects. I trust your judgment. So I feel like anything that you try to do, anything that you do end up doing, you've done enough research that it is a suitable choice, at least for you.
The at least for you there is interesting because yeah, that's one of the dangers of living a life so publicly. Is people will ask me like, "Oh, Joe, um, like what computer did you buy?" Right? And I'll be like, "You shouldn't buy the same computer I bought. My use case is entirely different from yours." Right? Like my judgment is applied to min-maxing my situation. And if somebody's like living a different life, like I don't I don't think, like, if I can set an example for people, I want it to be encouraging them to make decisions based on their own surroundings, not set an example like, oh, this is the computer you want to buy to play video games on the internet.
Right.
Because even just the choices, the types of games I play, or the things that I need that computer to do in terms of recording aren't going to match up with most other people's use cases.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
And it's interesting when like people ask for advice and you're really trying to tell them that they need to do their own research or whatever, and then they get upset with you. They're like, well, you're supposed to have all the answers, yada yada yada. Like, no, that's not how life works, buddy. Like, I could only account for what I do. I can possibly give suggestions if you're trying to do certain things, but ultimately I can't tell you how to live your life.
Yeah.
Because what I decide to do is as per me. I've had my own experiences. I know how to handle things per me. I've told people several times, I don't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's one thing. I don't have kids. I just have a dog that I have to feed. I also don't have to eat every day. That's just me. So I may make decisions that I know I would never tell a person with a child to go make because they have a whole kid to think about.
Well, and I constantly, people will ask me, like, when do you think is old enough for a kid to do this? And I'll say, like, my kid isn't old enough for that, or my kid is old enough for that. But I know this because I raised my kid.
Right.
And all of these judgment calls are judgment calls that I'm making based on my relationship with my child. And every human is different, every relationship is different. Like, there's probably some general guidelines like, hey, how old would you want your kid to be before she drove a forklift? Okay, that's going to be different for my kid versus somebody. It's like if your kid grew up working in your garage and like racing cars, like, because there's like kids racing leagues and whatever with like
Yeah.
go-karts and stuff. If your kid is racing go-karts at the age of 8, maybe by 14 or 15, they could run a forklift. But my kid doesn't spend that much time operating equipment like that. So probably it's going to be later. But like also that's a decision you make at the time. You don't tell your kid when they're 9, hey, when you're 15, I'll let you use the forklift. You see when they're 15, are they responsible enough to use the forklift?
Right.
Also, there might be laws that say in your municipality that you cannot operate a forklift unless you're 18. In which case, if you're running a business, you can't really violate that law safely. And if you're not running a business, I'm really curious why you have a forklift.
Don't ask about why people have machinery.
Yeah, Joe, some people just have forklifts.
They want the kid to use.
It's my kid's training forklift.
It's interesting how like a lot of people they want this guidance in life, but they'll want guidance in life on things that aren't really like that are minimal, but then you tell them like some decent guidance about stuff that about some just common human things that maybe they should take into consideration, like how to not be a butt face, and they don't want to hear that. It's like, look, the only advice I could give you is how you can really treat people better. That's the only downright advice I could honestly give you, is how to treat people with respect. But when people don't want to hear about that, they want to hear about like all types of other things. Like a lot of people ask me about dog advice and everything because I was a dog walker for years and whatnot. And I'm like, every dog is different. They're like, yeah, no, but I have this type of dog. Do you know your dog at all? Because you're asking me questions like you don't even know your own dog.
Well, and so that's where it comes down to like, encouraging people, get to know your own kid, get to know your own dog, so you can make these calls for yourself, is the advice.
Right.
And like I can talk about how I would make a decision like this for my child, or what evidence I have on either side of the argument. But like, you know, realistically, my child's going to be different than everybody else's. So, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I know we have forklifts, but do we have spoon lifts and knife lifts? Knife lifts sounds so scary and diabolical. Spoon lift, I don't know why spoon lift sounds like a giant shovel. I would want a spoon lift.
Yeah, I think a spoon
Um,
lift is an excavator.
goes on to Google real quick because I
An
gotta I
excavator. It's
gotta
got
think
like
of
a
this.
big scoop and it picks up earth.
That's what I didn't know. If you learn something new every day, I didn't know that that was what it was. Oh, I didn't know that that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, oh my God, they have a little kid one at Walmart for $35.
I don't know if my kid's mature enough for one of those, Janey. Tell me.
Well, as per Walmart,
Walmart says
recommended
it's
for
for ages
kids.
4 and up, so I'm sure you're fine.
Just go based off of Walmart standards. The kid has a helmet on, so make sure they wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Knife lift is a drill. What would a knife lift be?
Yeah, I
Knife
think drill's probably pretty close. Somebody suggested a knife lift is a guillotine.
Oh my God. I would send them to the knife lift.
I mean,
I have
that's not a
diabolical
bad
plans.
name. Like, because, like, guillotine is one of those things that we don't even have an English word for.
Right.
And so, like, the
The
idea
head
of
chopper.
translating guillotine into knife lift in, like, if you were doing some sort of sci-fi story with a bunch of alien languages, um, I actually just finished rereading one of my favorite sci-fi books, Situation Normal by Leonard Richardson. And one of the things I love about it is that all of the ships' names are interpreted differently depending on who's like which aliens are talking about it. So like
Oh.
the actual name of the ship of the main character ship is the Sour Candy. But like one of the governments says calls the ship the Sweet and Sour, which
Oh.
sweet and sour is an interesting way to like interpret the words sour candy. But
That it's cute.
it's a different concept. Like sweet and sour sauce is not the same as sour candy, you know? Like at all. And so it's just a funny kind of running gag about language that everybody who encounters the ship says like we see a ship according to its it looks like it's called the spoiled candy or whatever, or which spoiled candy is even worse than sweet and sour as a translation, but it's a plausible like, oh, this candy is like milk that's gone sour is spoiled,
Right.
right? So candy that's gone sour, spoiled candy. Like it's just a fun little running gag throughout the book that there's everybody's got a different name. And like, yeah, so calling the idea that you could have a ship called the Guillotine and it warps in and somebody's like, it looks like the knife lift has entered the sector.
Words are fun. I like words. They are hilarious. So I'm currently trying to learn Minecraft enchantment book Spanish because it's not the same as regular Spanish,
Are
and it's been a doozy.
you playing Minecraft in Spanish these days?
Yeah, I took like 3 days off to put it back in English because I didn't want to accidentally like mess around and like accidentally like delete a world.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have turned it into Spanish, and the Spanish is it's not like your regular Spanish.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
used to play
been weird.
Minecraft in Spanish on YouTube just because like I took Spanish in high school and it's like I knew enough to get by, you know. It was just kind
Yeah.
of a fun little thing. But it was before enchantments were added, so I didn't see how much they butchered those. I might have to switch that
Oh,
back on in your
yeah,
in
you
order to
should.
see this.
You should, because I know that there are some people on the Minecraft, Microsoft, and Mojang teams who are like Argentinian,
Hmm.
some who are from Spain. Like, so there's different, there's differences, but man, like there's like some subreddits about the terrible butchering of the Spanish. And so like I asked my boyfriend who speaks Spanish fluently, like that was his first language. I asked him some things. He's like, "What the heck are you like what does that mean exactly? Like what are you doing in Minecraft?" And I'm like, "This is what I think it's supposed to mean." He's like, "Look, I don't." He's like, "That's not translating right." And I found out that like just like with English language, when you go into certain arenas of language, it's not the regular translation.
Hmm.
So, like, so that's why I was like working with a few people to try to just get a list of enchantments, like the translation and stuff correctly. Cause yeah. Um, and then like, some stuff is like modified, like, well, it shows how English can be like modified compared to Spanish, where instead of saying uh like something like book of something 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 whatever, in English it'll just be like whatever the name is, but in Spanish it may be like from blah blah blah, like there's like extra that could come with it. So
Hmm.
it's been interesting. I don't know, I wanted to try other languages too, but I was like, wow, like what if they don't have enough support for some of these other languages,
Yeah, what if these are
and it's all
worse?
jacked up. Yeah. Yeah, and like I'm just like, oh my god, because like if you look through the language list on Minecraft, it's extensive, and I'm
It
like,
is.
there's no way, there's so I don't know, might have to do a language test,
Hmm.
little language check and everything like that, and try to meet as many people from these countries as possible to see if the language checks out.
That'd be fun. I love meeting
Yeah,
people. Like
I
that's one
know
of the
that there's
big
gonna.
things I miss is with going to conventions and stuff. But like,
Yes.
I just can't afford it right now. Like,
Yeah, meeting different people and being able just to have fun with each other just based on the fact that like something just brought you together, whether it be video game, art, things that you just like to do, whatever. It's great. I I miss it.
yeah, I've got to figure out how to get like companies to pay me to work their booths at PAX because I just can't justify the cost of going. But it
Mhm.
makes me so sad to miss PAX. Like this year staying home was just like really hard because it's like almost every like a bunch of people I know online went to PAX, and a bunch of my local friends all went skiing in Colorado, and so I'm just like, okay, I'm at home
Hanging out.
hanging out. Uh, so it's like
Jumps on Minecraft. I don't know. Hopefully you're able to find a company that you like.
well, that's the thing is I'm
Or
not gonna do it for a company I don't like. So
oh.
there's the list. God, it's like
Well, have you looked at oh god, the pinball people,
yeah, they
what
don't
are
do a
those
lot at
people?
PAX is the problem. And like
They do
so
Comic
the
Con.
this is where it gets awkward. It's like in the pinball world, I'm not big enough to be a draw at pinball conventions.
Oh.
Um, but at least unlike PAX, pinball conventions are relatively cheap. So like I could probably afford to go to like three small town pinball conventions for the cost of like one PAX, you know.
Hmm.
And it's easier to take my daughter to those because of
Right.
like the way things line up with her school and stuff. Because that's one of the other things is if I go to like a 4 day PAX, I have to get my kid to school while I'm gone somehow, which is not good or easy. Whereas like these pinball conventions, a lot of them are like Friday through Sunday, so I could drive over there with my kid after school on Friday and drive back Sunday, you know.
Which really like tells about the type of atmosphere, like them knowing that a lot of pinball enthusiasts are parents,
Well,
are adults. stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, like, PAX being 4 days makes sense because people fly from all over the world to come to PAX. But you know, and so like if somebody's flying here from London, you don't want to necessarily have a short event. I get it, but
yeah,
like that's more childcare coverage I gotta sort out. You know,
right.
um, so yeah, I don't know.
Like all I know is that like I I miss going and hanging out with people at conventions. So when I went, I didn't go all the way to TwitchCon. I went to like an Xbox party. Yeah, I went back to San Diego just to go to an Xbox rooftop party.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely did. People thought it was so weird. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I really wanted. I That's how much I was wanting to go and meet up with people. Was that I decided just to take this little trip because I
Mm-hmm.
knew I couldn't do the whole thing because the whole thing would have ran me over $1,000 and
Yeah, it's not cheap.
it would have been wild. But I just really wanted to go, and yeah, it was nice seeing people, but I felt so weird with it because it was like I that's literally how much I wanted to mingle with people.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I actually don't like to mingle with people, I really wanted to get out the house and go. And it was it was uh it was pretty interesting. It was a little bit overwhelming at first because I forgot what I was agreeing to. Like TwitchCon is huge. I'd never been to a TwitchCon before. So the
Mm-hmm.
day before TwitchCon, there was still, a lot of people. That's when they come in. And yeah, it was wild. I was just like, "Oh my god." And then I went back on the plane and came back. It was like, "Oh great.
Mm-hmm.
Back to reality."
NJ Coffee Junkie asks, Joe, would you consider doing what we do at conventions? What NJ does at conventions is like teaches people to play board games. And
Really?
I would absolutely do that, but most of the places that have you do that don't pay you in money. They pay you in like you can have a free copy of the board game and they might help you with your hotel room, but they're not necessarily going to pay for my flight. And the flight and the childcare, like basically, if I'm having to pay someone to watch my kid for 4 days and pick her up and drop her off at school and stuff, and I have to pay for my own flight, I can't go for a free hotel room. You know, um, it's not gonna work out financially. So, like, it's kind of that's in the like it's almost if I was childless, in 10 years I could do that, but like it's not a plan for right now. So, but yeah, I would if I was gonna work somebody's booth, I would work. I'm not like, oh hey, give me a chair and a magazine and I'll sign stuff. It's like, no, you want me to demo your game? I'll demo your game. You want me to mess with these headphones? I'll mess with these headphones. Like, if you give me a job, I want to do a good job at it. Like,
Right.
but the compensation has to be in more than just, hey, here's a free badge or here's a hotel
Yeah.
room.
Especially like considering the fact that a lot of us already get into these conventions for free.
Yeah,
So it's like we need like more like help. Thanks.
yeah, and
And
like
these flights are terrible.
and there's an argument like, well, if I sold merch, I could try to recoup some of my costs by getting a
Ew.
table and just selling merch at my own table. But
That
like
costs even more money.
trying to bring that much merch up to Boston, I'd have to drive for sure. Or I could ship a pallet there, but then I got to ship a pallet back of whatever I didn't sell if I fly. Like, I don't know. And then like I don't have the upfront capital for the amount of merch that like to actually because like some of these booths can be $600.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, I'm actually gambling more here. Like cuz it's like, okay, I got to cover, childcare plus flight plus hotel plus 600 for the booth. At least the badge is included with the booth. But uh I don't know. I'm not a big enough deal that I can do that and make money off it as a sure thing. And like I don't like gambling, and this is suspiciously like playing roulette. At least, in some ways, it's like the Vegas experience because it's like, well, if I know I'm gonna lose money, I at least get to enjoy it while I'm there. But like, I can lose money a lot cheaper by not getting my own table.
Right.
Like, I could, if I had the money, I could just pay my own airfare. But that's part of the thing.
That's the issue in itself.
Like, it's yeah. So I don't know. I gotta figure out. I'm talking out loud about this stuff because, like, on the off chance somebody works somewhere where they're like, oh wait, you would actually show up and pull an 8 hour shift at our booth every day. My company has a booth. Come work with us. Like, yeah. Like this isn't me just whining. This is me trying to figure this out. So yeah.
Look, I'll work any booth that has the food. Okay. Food shop. I'm here for it.
Well, they
Or
usually don't
like,
let you
yeah.
sell food out of a booth because they have like a vendor
Listen,
contract with like.
but listen, Joe. Just saying. In the event that somehow that happens, I'm down for the cause. Don't pay me in food either, but I'm down for the cause. I'm always gonna be down for the cause. But like, I don't know, like I'm just hoping that within this year or this upcoming year and the year after that things kind of can level out a little bit to normalcy so then you can find uh those companies who are willing to actually pay you enough
Yeah.
to do X, Y, and Z if it came down to it. Because I mean, there's a lot that goes into running a booth, anyways, and
Yeah, I've done it
being
several
paid.
times, but like
Yeah.
my audience was a lot smaller back then,
Mm,
and like I had a lot of break even trips, but it was always break even. And the other thing, the big difference then though, also was I didn't have to pay for childcare, and I didn't have to deal with lost revenue because I was going on like my vacation days from work, right? From my salaried job, not like taking the night off streaming, where it's like, okay, I
right.
might be losing a couple $100 a night. So I gotta, it's like I've got to make at least what I would have made streaming. Now, there are some shows where you can stream from the show floor, or I could go back to my room and still do the nighttime stream, but like, it would be nice to be able to afford not to have to. I don't know.
Right. It'd be nice to be able to do what you see other people at conventions doing, conventioning.
Yeah, yeah. And like what I keep coming back to on this stuff is like maybe I should just go back to having a day job because I'm never going to make enough money off YouTube to actually like afford the things that are like that kind of like make life fulfilling to me if I can't afford to travel and I can't afford to see people and stuff. Like this is just going to slowly drive me insane. Like this is not a sustainable business at that point. So at that
Right.
point, maybe I should go back to treating it like a really good hobby. I don't know. But
I mean, that's eh, as much as I love being able to tell people that I've never had a 9 to 5 job while streaming,
mm-hmm.
it's still a thing where if it happens, it happens. If it
Yeah.
happens that I have to do that, am I going to be happy about it? Heck no. But, I'll understand. But it's just sucky you're when you're doing what you love to do, what you really do enjoy. You are making sustainable money off of it, but just barely.
Well, like
And
it's sustainable in that like I live in an apartment that's falling apart and
right.
like I uh am struggling to figure out how to afford to like visit my girl or not my girlfriend, my fiance before the wedding and
Congrats on that anyways.
thank you, but like it's like I'm trying to
Dang.
figure out how like how to pay for the wedding stuff like it's sustainable. Like, I mean, my microwave's been broken for 3 months. It's sustainable as long as I don't like actually replace things when they break. You
Right.
know, like I wore my shoes out several. I had one pair of shoes wear out, and I was like, well, I've got some other shoes that probably have a week or two left in each of them. I just don't wear them very often because they're so beat up and ugly. And it's like, nope. All you want to empty all the old shoes in your closet. Try wearing them. They all fell apart. So it's like, you know, so it's like it's sustainable, but not at like and like I keep telling myself like maybe if I can just get through this, I feel like I'm laying a lot of the groundwork for doing better in the long term.
Right.
But at some point I think I need to be prepared for the fact that maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Someone who works a full-time job and tries to stream it. Yeah, I could just imagine working a full-time job and trying to stream. And I say that because like the most other job that I've had
Yeah.
along with streaming has been dog walking, but I was just doing dog walking by myself. Like full disclosure, I got fired. Believe it or not, there's somebody actually that did not want me on the job anymore because I found out how to make $1,000 a week legally.
Mhm.
So I got fired years ago, and while I was crying that day, I looked at my dogs and I was like, "Yo, I don't want to walk you guys." And then, like, literally, light bulb came off. Nobody wants to walk their dog, so I'm gonna be a dog walker.
Mhm.
While I was still looking at my dogs, like, "Yo, I don't even want to walk you right now because I'm like depressed." But like, so I was doing that, and then I eventually got into content creation, and that was the most that I would do. Thankfully, a lot of my clients love video games and they're like, "Yeah, hook up your Xbox at my house. Do whatever you got to do." Yeah, they let me raid their kitchen and like show the audience what was in their refrigerator and stuff. Like they let me
Wow.
do a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of weird stuff that I was doing. But, you know, at the end of the day though, like that's not always going to be sustainable. And
Mhm.
it's like you never feel like you're letting yourself down if what was working for you doesn't necessarily work for you in the long run. Because sometimes things are just meant to just run their course.
Yeah.
Then you do other things, and then maybe you could come back to what you were doing before full time again. But it can feel sucky. It's like, am I actually like doing something with this? When will it start taking off? Is it going to be a 10-year plan, or is it like a 2-year plan? It could be very, very difficult. That's why I stopped. It wasn't really possible for me at all at the point.
Mhm.
And, but I was trying again. Maybe it'll be different. I mean, if you really do have a hobby, pursue it. It may not be lucrative. It may be lucrative, uh you kind of just take the pros with the cons. Because I mean, if you go into content creation knowing good and well that it's not like you're gonna be rich and stuff like that off top, uh you're gonna have a more successful time, a way more of a fun time, versus the people that are like, oh, I want to stream so I can make money. Well, guess what, buddy? That's not always that quick, you know.
Mhm.
Um, it was easier in the early pandemic than now. I volunteer in my spare time, but couldn't go to any colleges in person. We recently returned to in-person visits, and they're all at my times. It's been a whole thing. Yeah, NJ, like I could just imagine there's a lot of people who started content creation because of the pandemic, and they're starting to either get jobs or, stuff is starting to kind of pan out a bit. So there are some people who are having to think, do I still want to do content creation? Do I still have time to do it? Was this just a hobby, or was this lucrative enough? Like, how do I balance having both?
Well, and that's one of the
So
things too is like when
hard.
I couldn't afford to travel because of the pandemic, or when I couldn't travel because of the pandemic, it didn't bother me that I wasn't able to travel the same way. I mean, it bothers it. I mean, I was annoyed I couldn't travel, but like there's a difference between there's no PAX this year and everyone else is at PAX.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like what's frustrating is like I've done streaming while having a day job, and I know I can stream while having a day job, but what I would actually have to give up is I would have to give up being able to record group recordings with the other hermits, because those are always done during my work day. And people be like, "Oh, hey, why weren't you in this collab? Why weren't you in that collab?" It's like, oh, I was at work. Or what was really annoying was a lot of times the answer is because we were gonna do it on Monday, so I took Monday off work, and then they moved it to Tuesday,
Ew.
and I had already used my vacation day that and I didn't have anymore. And like, because the hermits are constantly moving recordings, there's no way to plausibly schedule a day job around those group recordings. Like, people are like, when are you guys gonna end? When are you guys going home from Empires? We don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like, is it you keeping the audience in suspense? I have no clue. Like, even if we pick a day, there's a 2 out of 3 chance that date is wrong, but we won't know that until that morning. Stuff is constantly derailed or postponed. Like, so I don't know.
My hubs is supportive of me finding a way to balance it. And it's good when you have a close support system. Uh it's good versus either a weird fake support system that is just kind of like you just better be making money and I'll act like I support you, or like the ones that just don't. And it could be very like taxing. And of course, there's people that are like, oh, well, I got this far without everybody, yada yada yada. Sometimes people can support you in certain ways, such as like, okay, you want to go ahead and go to a convention or something like that. I could go and watch your kid. I could go watch your dog while you go do that. Like it's great to have those options, but not everyone does, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um Hi, you were under the recommended column and want to say hi. Hi, hello. Hi. I was in your recommended. Well, I'm currently doing a stream extravaganza, stream craftception. I don't know what to call these things. I'm currently hanging out with Joe Hills.
Howdy.
We are having fun um talking and hanging out. The perler bead art is going out fairly well. This right here is Joe Hill's stream. Joe's actually coloring some NASA
Yeah, these are from the
pictures.
NASA exoplanets collection.
Yes. And we're just having a good time talking with everyone. Now Joe is more artistic than I am.
But I'm coloring today because I've had an exhausting week.
Yeah, yeah. Joe is currently working with all of the color spectrums and is learning how they all coexist
Yeah.
and stuff.
And we're
He's not
talking about
coloring in the
money. And
lines.
Credit Mike asks, "Are you still contracting?" No. Well, kind of. My biggest contracting gig, the contract is up at the end of the year, and we're not renewing it. And that's one of the reasons I'm stressing about money too, is because that's
Oh.
like over $1,000 a month of revenue that's not going to be coming in anymore. And I was hoping to offset that with trying to get some paid pinball streams in and going to
Ooh.
Pinball Expo in Chicago and talking to some people there about advertising, and that did not pan out. Uh,
Oh.
so yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. See, I feel bad because I'm taking a $3,000 cut
Mm-hmm.
with me not re-signing. And
Mm-hmm. Who is this with Facebook?
it's yeah,
And that's
and
monthly.
yeah,
Wow, that's a pretty good
and
salary for streaming.
oh
Like
yeah, especially considering the fact that I have all these medical bills, it was working.
that's a fantastic baseline because that's before tips. That's before anything.
Yep, yep.
That is, I do not blame you for signing that deal. I would not want to work with Facebook, but three
Yeah.
thousand a month as your baseline salary for streaming is solid.
Yes.
That's like significant.
And so now I'm just sitting here like I should really be panicking. For whatever reason, I'm not fully
Mm-hmm.
yet, but it's kind of like, huh. Well, money is needed in these times.
Unlike all other times
You
when
know?
money was completely unnecessary.
Right. No, I could just barter,
Yeah.
okay? Just be like, "Please, sir, take this wool." Let's just barter. So it is just like, um, a lot of times as a creator, these contracts they could have endings. These contracts may not even be suitable for you after a while. So when you find a good contract and then it ends, it's like, now what?
Mm-hmm.
Some people have the luxury of being able to fully prepare beforehand, but it's not always. Some things just don't pan out like how you think that they're gonna pan out, even when you are prepared and all that stuff. It's just, that's why we need International Joe. Okay, so we need
Mm-hmm.
International Joe. We need Castle Joe. Um, we need to see these things happen because it would be really great for you to be able to continue with whatever it is you want to do, continue with your dreams and continue with all your goals successfully. So I would hate for you to have to get, a 9 to 5 job that takes you away
Yeah.
from everything that you want to do.
Well, but like so
Like,
many other people have one. And like I've had one before for most of my
yeah,
life. Maybe this is just an aberration. Like, one of the other things I've looked at was like, well, I could live further out. Once if I can get my kid to qualify for one of the academic magnet schools in town, then they don't care where in the county you live as long as you live in the county.
right.
But she has to both academically qualify, which she does, but then her name goes in a lottery with like every other kid that qualifies. And maybe she gets in and maybe she doesn't, right? So if she gets in, then I was looking at it, it's like, okay, I could live like an hour down the bus line from her school. But then I'm gonna be possibly spending like hours on the bus every day. And so like it's like would I be better off trying to get a job than trying am I better off increasing my income or decreasing my spending on housing or like also those times that the bus times would overlap with the times that the hermits do the recordings anyway.
Dang it.
And like at some point like my fiance might be able to help with some of that, like getting my kid to or from school, but like we're waiting on the federal government to like we're gonna have to do this whole immigration process, and like
Yep.
even once she gets here she might get a job that's not compatible with that, like or have other obligations. Like I can't depend on her to do that. Like it's my kid, it's my responsibility,
Right.
like so I don't know. There's just like a lot of stuff where and like maybe I'm just worrying about nothing. Like maybe there will be opportunities that exist 2 months from now that I can't even conceive of today, but
Yeah.
like in the back of my head I'm like, based on the data I do have, this really looks pretty terrible. Like but like I don't know, I've been making things up as I go for years, it'll be okay. The data does not support optimism, but like,
Exactly. Look at the outliers. There are outliers somewhere. There
yeah,
has to be
yeah.
an outlier. So,
This'll be fine.
what other games do you like in addition to Minecraft? Oh God, I like a lot of other games. I love Tekken.
But do you
Tekken.
like Tekken in addition to Minecraft?
Right.
When you play Tekken inside of Minecraft, is that a good mod?
Uh, help me, Joe. What?
I'm just not helpful. Sorry. This is why I can't find
My
work.
God. um, I do not want a. I do not wish for a Tekken mod in Minecraft. I do, like, believe it or not. I just don't. I like Terraria, and I do play with the Minecraft mod in Terraria though.
Hmm.
So so I'm down for that. I like Pokemon. Now I do believe that there are at least two Pokemon that Mojang decided to put like to sign off on. All right, because there's a little Pokemon that looks like it came straight from Minecraft. I don't care what anybody says. I know that Minecraft keeps denying it because I was like, yo, guys, question. But so there's
Is
that.
this in Scarlet and Violet?
Also, yeah,
Okay, I haven't.
yeah, it's a little it's a little salt Pokemon. It looks like a sheep uh that is based on salt. It looks like a sheep.
Hmm.
In Minecraft, everything is ours for Tekken. Like I love that. I like crafting games. I like the Division. I used to be big on the Division, like 18 hours a day on the Division. Couldn't get me off of that. Um, I like all sorts of games, but the games I'm really not interested in these days would have to be mainly like your FPS games. I can still do Halo, but like I can't do like Call of Duty and stuff. I don't have a like for it anymore.
I've been really impressed with the new Quake releases. Um,
Ooh.
Bethesda has been putting out some updates to the original Quake to make it run better on modern computers.
Mhm.
Um, and it's really solid. There's a good kind of co-op mode that they added. That's a lot of fun. And I mean, Quake is one of those games like it'll run on anybody's computer, and it's like $10 when it's not on sale, probably. So yeah, I've been playing more Quake lately.
Might have to try that. Have you ever heard of The World Ends with You? No. Is I
I
hope
think I have
it's a game.
enough
It's a game,
self-centeredness
right?
issues. I don't need a game that reinforces it.
The world ends with you. It's ending real quick. Tomorrow's the last day.
Yeah.
Play you like Cuphead? Cuphead sent look, I have a Cuphead save from 2018. Okay? Haven't finished the game. I raged quit. Undertale, Skyrim, Retro. Interesting. And games that you voiced. Oh. In a time not their own. Dun dun and then like things crash. I would love to have like a Joe Hills game with your audio.
Yeah, I saw that the Rick and Morty guys, Justin Roiland in particular, which I guess is just one guy because he voices both Rick and Morty. Um he did a voice pack for like some one of those games with the lanes. It's like a what do you call those there's a MOBA, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did. There's some sort of MOBA that like they do voice packs where different celebrities or whatever will be like, the opposing team so and so, scored a goal or whatever, but like they'll do it in character, like, oh gee, Rick, did you see that guy scored a goal over there? Yeah, Morty, I'm not stupid, like that sort of thing. Like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Anybody who's got a half a brain could see that. Like I don't remember the actual jokes, but I remember seeing like a video of it and being like, that doesn't make me want to buy that game because the thing as I understand it about MOBAs is you have to sit there for the whole game and play, and if anybody walks away from their keyboard, the team loses. And as somebody with a
Ew.
kid, I can never guarantee that I won't have to get up from my keyboard, right? Like, it's selfish of me to play those games because I can't be there for my team at the level that is expected. And so I just never play them.
Yeah, I think I got kicked out of the game once for doing that. They're like, in abandonment. I was like, yeah, it surely did.
Yeah.
So what? I had to use the bathroom. Oh well, next game. I think I uninstalled it, everything. Oh, see, voiceover work is really is really interesting. It's so multifaceted.
I would love to do books on tape,
You need to.
but
I would pay.
and I've been practicing, like, and I say that not like just in front of the mirror, but I've actually been reading Dracula on stream, one chapter a week for 24 weeks or 23 weeks now. So I'm getting about 2 hours of practice a week in, which is not great at something that you're looking at doing as a potential job. Maybe 2 hours a day would be more better, but like I don't have 2 hours a day. I have 2 hours a week, you know? So
Well, you do a great job. Okay, you actually do a great job. You captivate an audience, and I I would so say yes. Between that and the voices that you have when you play Pokemon, yeah, I'm here for it.
yeah, that's the thing though, is like I feel like people who already like my humor and like me would appreciate my audiobook versions of things, but like, if I wanted to actually record Dracula, like reading it straight through, it would probably be about 40 hours of recording time, and then I'd have to edit it. And then what would be a fair price to sell that for? Like 30 or $40? Like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like, this is why Audible works, because like Audible gets the bulk discount. But like most audiobooks, if you just tried to buy them without an Audible account, would be like 40 to $60, right? They're not cheap. And
Right.
like, I don't know. I guess I could sign up for an account to try and get on Audible, but like, I how okay, so let's say that I spent 80 hours to make a Dracula audiobook. Uh if I spent 80 hours doing freelance coding work, that would be between like $125 and $175 an hour. So 80 times 150, that's $12,000 of like that I would have to make off this. So if we charged $40, I'd have to sell 300 copies. That's actually less than I thought.
Well, guys, make sure you guys are following Joe Hills
I
for the announcement of his audiobooks.
But like, here's the thing though: is what if I only sell 10? you know, like, uh, I don't know. Mini Cheese Mouse says, "When is the Christmas Carol?" It's in the newsletter. I don't remember the dates. I posted the dates in the newsletter so I wouldn't have to remember them. But yeah, I am reading the Christmas Carol again this year. That would be a lot easier to do a book on tape recording of, because it's like maybe 10 hours long instead of like Dracula is so long. But yeah.
Audiobooks are huge too, very huge. They have a new system to penalize people for abandoning games. I just think it's kind of like if I'm not in a tournament, don't bug me about leaving a darn game. Like
Yeah.
games are supposed to be fun, not obligations.
Yeah.
Just I mean, I get it, you don't want to abandon your teammates. And it's not to
Well,
say I
but that's
haven't
the
gotten
thing though,
upset with
is like
people for
for
doing that,
these
but
MOBA
still.
players, life is a tournament. Like the entire structure of the game, you're no, I'm serious. Like you're ranked based on how you perform every single game, right?
I can't have that stress.
Yeah, and I'm just not gonna play that. I'm just not going to play that kind of game because it's not for me. It's for people with a different kind of life. Like Magic the Gathering. I'm sure it's a fun game, but that's for people who can buy cards, and I can't. So, okay, next problem. Like, not gonna
Like,
worry about it.
Joe, your cards suck. Shut up. That's all I can afford.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like, can I just show up and play with somebody else's cards? No. Okay.
Highly recommend The World Ends With You. It's made by some people who worked on Kingdom Hearts. Fell
Oh,
in love
I've
with the
never played
game.
Kingdom Hearts because I
Oh.
heard it had Mickey Mouse in it.
What? What? Why? You're anti the mouse?
Well, no, I just didn't want Mickey Mouse to get hurt. I heard he gets hit, like, attacked by things in the game.
Man, Joe, if you don't get over your life, the mouse is still alive. The mouse is still alive. Oh my god. You
I'm
need
joking.
you
I'm
I
joking.
now oh, okay,
That's
'cause
actually a joke.
no, well, no, I know somebody who's like really serious with PETA, and that's why they didn't want to play Kingdom Hearts.
Mhm.
But no, Kingdom Hearts is such a great game.
The,
I love it. I
the
played it in the fourth grade.
the
It
reason
was
I haven't
amazing.
played Kingdom Hearts is because I heard that like in order to actually understand the story, you have to like have all of these different games on all of these different consoles and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if there was a way to just do it all in one place, I would consider binging it, but I just can't be bothered to chase down obscure consoles to get games that are out of print or
Oh, I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now because I first played it on the PlayStation, so I get
you
what you're saying
you
now.
played the first one when that was the only one, but apparently there's like a whole
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole thing now. That's
yeah.
like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kingdom Hearts is so lit.
Incredible
Like
says
I
Kickstarter or
love that.
pre-sale the audiobook. I wish
Ooh.
I had thought of that for the Christmas Carol because it's too late to do it now for this year, and it's too early to do it for next year. Um, but yeah, you're probably not wrong, Incredible Mike. This Empire's crossover really cut in like there because that's such a time sensitive thing. Even though we don't know when anything in particular is going to happen, uh, like if I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go into hardcore audiobook recording mode for the next week and a half, like I would be missing a big chunk of that collab time. So like, there's no way to rush it for this year. Honestly, it's probably also too late to sell it for this year. You really need to have something like that ready to go on sale the day after Thanksgiving. Like,
Oh yeah, because the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas is on.
yeah, people are like, Advent.
So you can play all the remixes on PS4 now. You know, I was so thinking about getting a PlayStation just so I could play the games I can't play everywhere else.
Oh, I just don't have the time. Is what kills me. Like, um, yeah, I got so the Dwarf Fortress, which I've played probably hundreds of hours of on the old text-based version before my kid was born. Uh, like they came out with a new graphical version on Steam, and I was dubious about it. But I was also like looking at the amount of footage I need to go through for this Empires crossover. Sorry, I keep talking about this, but it's like eating my life right
It's
now. It's
important.
eating my life. I was like, okay, if I've got to go like sit through all of this footage, like trying to find the good bits, like hours and hours of it. Okay, I'll buy the new Dwarf Fortress game and like be running that while I'm listening to the same jokes 800 times. Because like with editing, if I can keep part of my brain occupied, the rest of it's more bearable, you know. Um, but yeah, so I got that last night, and the I was really worried the graphics would be distracting because I'm used to playing it in text mode. But it turns out that if you hire an artist to draw a tree, it looks like a tree. And like my brain can interpret that even though it's different from the way I'm used to playing the game. So well, that's pretty nice. Um
Well, I'm glad it's at least lining up and it doesn't feel like a whole existential crisis is going on.
yeah, I'm looking forward to learning how the military system works in the game because one of the things that I ran into with the old versions of Dwarf Fortress that I played back like 10 years ago was that the military system, like for like having your dwarves defend the fortress or whatever, was just like super clunky and terrible. And like you could learn how to do it, but it wasn't fun or enjoyable to like have your dwarves defend the fortress. So sometimes a monster would just show up and you would just kind of shrug and be like, I guess we'll all die. Like, because I can't be bothered to try and like trying to tell a dwarf to pick up a crossbow in this game was like one of the stupidest things. It's like, no. Here's a cabinet full of armor. Put the armor on. It's like, I'd rather go brew some more mushroom beer. And I'm like, I know dwarves like mushroom beer, but there's literally this thing with 8 tails and 1,000 spines rolling around the fortress like Sonic the Hedgehog, and the spines are poison. Could you go pick up a crossbow, please? Like,
By
so
the way, your imminent death is coming up. Go pick up this crossbow. Thanks.
yeah, there's a lot of Dwarf Fortress like Let's Plays. Like people used to like just literally like the Let's Plays for Dwarf Fortress, which is people writing the stories of what happened in their fortresses. That would just end with like, and then this monster showed up, so we built we built a bunch of walls, or we caved in part of the fortress, and 6 people are living in the kitchen and trying not to starve to death before this thing wanders away. It's like, oh, because like, oh, you want to try and fight something? Good luck. So, uh,
Oh, Ludacris, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. How do you stay awake when you stream like 3 o'clock in the morning? Well, this morning I did not stream. I chose to not do that because if I would have streamed this morning, 9 times out of 10, I would have been like a zombie. But I managed to do stuff like that because I decided to reset my internal clock, and that that happened. I think that happened over a course of 5 days where I would purposely have the most annoying alarm ever to get me up so that I could be up ready to stream by 3. And then once my body was just normalized to it, I stopped using the alarm because once my body gets used to something, an alarm doesn't wake me up. It Alarm is irrelevant. But yeah, so I would just do it like that. And I also, it's easy for me to get up and do stuff like that because I want to do it. If I didn't want to do something, the thought process of me doing it at 3 o'clock in the morning is not happening. It's just not.
yeah, I've thought about
Like,
trying to wake up at like 4 a.m. to do morning streams for the European audience, but and like, because it's like, well, maybe I could make some extra money that way, but I don't want to. I'm already not getting enough sleep with my night streams ending when they do. And like if the goal is to make more money, I can't move the night streams cuz they're already where I make most of my money. So like I need to like do both, and it seems like ending the stream at 10:30 at night and then starting the next one at 5 in the morning is kind of dicey.
it
But
is.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna workshop it. There, they're like there's ways to there's something I haven't tried yet. I just haven't figured out what it is. Toxic Glitter says, could you record the live streams where you perform the Christmas Carol, even if you save the recording and edit it to release next year? Uh, in theory, I would want to do the the recording of the audiobook version of a or the recording of an audiobook. Like, I don't want the distraction of running the chat. Like, I want to be able to just go 100% in on the thing, um, because I also like want to be able to, like, with the live stream, if I make a mistake with a particular word, I'll just kind of brush over it and keep going. But if it's for like a recording that I'm selling, I'm gonna want to re-record the whole paragraph or possibly the chapter, depending on how badly I screwed it up. Like, because like if you listen to an audiobook, you can tell sometimes when like they like re-recorded one sentence and it dropped it in with the others and the cadence doesn't fit. So you like, I don't know, it's a lot to do. Sky9 says, Joe, do you have anything later today? You're just past the 3 hours mark. Well, Cleo and I have been wrapping up a little bit earlier on these craft streams lately because we've both been exhausted. But yeah, I've been having fun talking to Janey, so I did not notice the time.
Shout
Janey, I
out
hope
to
I'm not keeping
Cleo.
you too long.
No, I looked at the time and I was like, "Oh, it's not even 1 o'clock yet."
There
Would you
you
look at
go.
that? Like, I don't know. I'm chilling.
So I
Uh,
probably do need to make lunch at some point because I didn't eat
you
breakfast
do.
in order.
Oh my God!
That's one of
What
the
the heck,
reasons I'm.
Joe?
Well, when I eat, it makes me really tired. because I have digestive issues, and
Yeah.
Cleo always chides me if I don't eat. So that's one of the other reasons that I'm tired after 2 hours on the Cleo streams. But I was like, Cleo's not here to make me eat breakfast. I don't have to.
Oh my god. I feel so bad. Nobody tell Cleo I didn't make Joe eat because Cleo's gonna be like, you let him starve to death. No.
Well, I
I
also
didn't.
actually, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Thank you so much for the raid. You thought the musician Ludacris was raiding? Well, Ludacris legacy, she could be a musician. I know that she has it within her. I know she could do it.
Hey, we got a tip rolling in from Shifty Pumpkin, who is making a Dwarf Fortress reference while writing, "This is a Joe Hill stream. All crafts Joe ship is of the highest quality." So we're gonna rotate the camera 30 degrees. That covers the cost of Dwarf Fortress. Thank you very much, Shifty Pumpkins. Woo! Because I was really kind of like, I feel bad. Like when I'm already stressed about money, I'm like, I shouldn't be buying this. But I'm also like, I spent hundreds of hours on this game before my kid was born, and like the guys who are going on sale with it, like they didn't want the game to be a big commercial thing, but like one of them got sick and they didn't have health insurance and it was a nightmare. And they were like, we need to sell our game so we can have health insurance. And I'm like, you know, like it's objectively a good game and I'm glad I bought it. But like when I was like, yeah, maybe I'll wait until after Christmas, I was like, I'm stressed out about editing now. I need something to do in the background while I listen to this footage. And these guys worked hard. They deserve the money. So thank you, Shifty Pumpkins, for covering that. Woo.
Now, full disclosure, NJ, this is for you. I'm doing like little coffee things now. Later on today, I'll be ironing the perler bead art. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't feel like getting up and getting the iron. That's the only reason why I haven't ironed them. But I am gonna be ironing these perler beads. So NJ, you get 2 coffees. There's 2 coffees here.
NJ2 coffee, they call her.
Yeah. Look at that. But yeah, if you guys have not already known, I am currently having a craft and chill session with Joe. Joe is an awesome content creator who like does Minecraft but also does other things, okay? So if you guys don't like Minecraft, it's okay. Joe likes some other games from time to time but also really loves pinball.
Mm-hmm.
And
which some people would consider another game from time to time.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you guys actually ever sit in Joe's streams and you guys stay for the raid, it's actually really awesome when he ends up raiding somebody who is doing pinball. Like you learn so much about pinball enthusiasts, about the hobby of collecting the pinball machines, and just there's a lot. Okay, sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, what is going on in this stream? And it's like, oh, pinball, yes. Because there's always
Jenny,
like
if you do visit Nashville, we got some great places to play pinball. Like I would be happy to take you and give you a pinball tour of Nashville.
That would actually be pretty fun. Because I mean, I'm not like big into pinball, but I do like pinball. Like I used to actually go to arcades.
Well, a lot of the places that have pinball also have drinks and or food. So if you occasionally drink or eat food, that would be an option too.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do occasionally drink and or eat food.
Yay.
Sometimes at the same time.
What?
Yeah, I'm very, Oh, okay, Joe, question.
What?
So your Nassau people are in like kind of like a hang glider.
Yeah, hot air balloon
thing. Yeah. Can you make that thing like the suspension cord on the right side a little bit darker so that matches the other one?
Suspension cord on the right side.
Like
this one here? Is that like bugging you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt your creativity.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. I was thinking that you're gonna go back in there, and I'm like, he's not going back in there. I was losing it. I was just like, I just got
going
caught back in there.
The planet was just more interesting than the spacesuits, right? So, Yeah.
I love it. So what are you going to be doing with these coloring sheets? What
Oh,
is
okay. So like I said, my studio has a lot of horizontal spaces, shelves, tables, whatever. So I'm probably gonna put them in a pile, kind of like this, and then I'll like do something like this, and then they will sit there until I move.
okay? I got trolled. So I was
I'm
like
not
so
lying. That's
invested.
actually
I
what's
was
gonna
so
happen.
look, I was so invested with this. I was so excited, and then I realized what was going on.
I'm just
But by then it was too late.
I'm coloring because I want to color, not because I have a plan.
I was wondering like if you were going to like post them somewhere. Look, I don't know what was gonna happen, but I didn't expect that.
um, yeah. Have a good day at class, Chloe the Great and Powerful. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really thought that far ahead, cause like I just printed off the whole set because I didn't want to have to choose which ones to do in advance. As like it's
Right.
easier to just do it on the fly. But yeah, no. So I'm just gonna have a stack probably. Is the they're papers. They stack nicely. Um, and then like one day I'm gonna lift them up and be like, that's where my Switch was. It'll just be underneath these.
Wow. That's
Uh,
where it was hiding this whole entire time. I went to a Vincent van Gogh art museum experience
oh, that's
last
cool.
month. And like my biggest thing was I wanted to know what they're going to talk about with the ear situation. That was I know I'm sadistic. That was my biggest thing was the ear.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I was looking for ear references. I'm like, yo, they're gonna show the ear, which I did get like an ear eraser. It's called an ear eraser,
I was gonna say if it's not
and
called an ear racer, these people are
yeah,
not doing their jobs.
yeah, it was an ear eraser, and I found it, and I was like, aha, I have found it, and like I would say that out loud, and it was just hilarious. Uh, but it was a really great and serene time. Like I felt like at ease and at peace with the world. It was it was actually a really fun experience, and they actually have immersive shows
Mm-hmm.
throughout the world, come to find out, because I saw some people who went to one in Japan, and it was really great just going through all of the art and everything, and like you doing this coloring, it just kind of reminds me of how vibrant of a show it really was. Like it was such an immersive experience. The art is like shown, of course, projector style, on the floors. Some places have it on the ceilings too, on the walls, and these walls are tall, huge walls. And it just watching you color, it just reminded me about how vibrant it was. So like I was really intrigued as to what you're gonna do with the coloring pages, and then you let me know that they were just gonna be things on a table,
Well, yeah.
you know.
I'm sorry. I just I don't know. Like not everything has to be a masterpiece. like like this is just practice. This is just me getting these are sketches kind of. Like this is just me exercising part of my brain that colors in things, right? Um but I will say one thing I really miss about my old day job is I was in walking distance of the Frist Museum in Nashville, which is like Nashville's premier art museum. And so I could walk over there at lunch. I got the annual membership, so I could just walk over there at lunch any day I wanted to and just walk around and look at all the paintings and stuff like that. And I feel like, we talk about like how our worlds have gotten smaller since the pandemic. Like,
Mhm.
I really miss all sorts of little stuff like that. I miss walking around the city on my lunch break because, like, I don't live downtown anymore. And honestly, I don't really get lunch breaks anymore. It's like I'm eating while I'm editing or while I'm writing emails instead of like actually like leaving the building like I did. when I worked somewhere. Like, I don't know. I need to just force myself to like go out more. But so nobody email me.
Nobody email me.
You're not getting a response.
I'm just not gonna respond to them. Just
I'm
nobody
going
email
for a
me.
walk.
It would be fun to like email Joe and then just get an automated response.
I'm outside.
That was
What's
just
your
kind of,
problem?
yeah, that's just kind of mean. I love it.
Carjewel says that I should clearly be mailing these to Janey when I'm done with them.
I'm gonna be honest, if they were mailed to me with no context, I would like be like, oh my god, it's happening.
Like, why am I getting these in the mail? Like, you probably wouldn't even remember me doing them. You'd just be like, what? I'm getting somebody's kids sending me their coloring.
Yeah, I've had that happen though. Like I've actually had that happen because I have like pretty much kind of like a PO box that people could go ahead and send stuff. Like quite often they actually send my dog things more than me, so I really don't be looking for anything. But one time, like I got like coloring book pages, and I was so confused. Like there was no context. It was, and I don't know, probably a 3-year-old did it. And like, when like 3-year-olds have these coloring pages and they just take a giant crayon and like forget that there's anything going on the coloring page. It's paper. And they just start scribbling everywhere. It was, I mean, it was cute, but it was so weird. Like there was like no context. Like, oh, my child did this for you. No, it was just that.
So yeah, for Thanksgiving last year for the craft stream, my fiance is from England. Never celebrated Thanksgiving, so for our craft stream right before Thanksgiving, we made like the traditional hand turkeys where you put your hand down and you paint a turkey with the tracing. And when we went to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, I snuck them onto the fridge when no one was looking. And so at one point, my mom goes into the kitchen, and she's just like, "What? Why are there hand turkeys on the fridge? Did somebody's children make these? Where did these come from? The hands are too big." And it's just like, without the context of, oh, look at this art we made. It's just like, no, here's just a child's artwork on my fridge. Wait, no, it's huge. Sorry,
What child is this?
What child is this? Oh, good, Mom, you're already getting in the Christmas spirit.
That is funny. What kind of, is that like a weather balloon that is like in the rift of something?
Yeah. So the idea is that these balloons are being towed over the planet. Like, so this balloon over here has like 2 little people in it too.
Oh. Okay.
So like some sort of like speedboats or something on the planet that can withstand the lava are towing these bubbles with people over.
That sounds really fancy.
Yeah.
Now, would you ever consider, just if this was just life, would you ever consider what planet you would live on if you had to choose a planet and Earth was not allowed?
I mean, it would really depend on the schools.
Okay, you had to choose a planet to establish yourself on. However, there was no schools available yet.
Well, I mean, if Earth is uninhabitable, like, okay, assuming that I have like whatever supplies are needed.
Yes.
So, living in a balloon city on Venus would be really cool. Floating city, because Venus, the air is toxic to breathe, but you can have your floating platforms at the pressure level that's like equal to Earth, so you don't have to wear a spacesuit to go outside. You just have to wear a mask. which we're already wearing masks,
Right.
right? So that would be cool, because I like going outside. So Venus would be pretty appealing for that reason. Um, let's see, with the moons of Jupiter, you got a lot of radiation issues, but like if we could deal with that, I mean the sky would look beautiful at night. Um, so I mean Jupiter would be cool. Like not Jupiter itself, but like one of the moons. They got plenty of moons. Um, and you could probably harness all the radiation coming off Jupiter for energy pretty reliably. So even though you're pretty far out for
Sustainability.
solar power, you wouldn't have to worry too much about energy in general. So that'd
That's
be
a thought
nice.
process.
One less thing to worry about. I mean, depending on how bad the Earth was and how badly you wanted to get away from it, Pluto is looking really appealing because it's pretty far out, man. But uh,
Hmm.
I don't know.
That is actually that is a great look. Good response. Other than the one with the best school.
What would your response be? Or
Um,
how would you pick what planet to live on? Like,
honestly,
it's like, where can I find work? Where are the schools good? These are basic considerations that people have when they select where to live.
well, if we had to choose a whole new planet, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would hope I wouldn't even have to worry about the regular Earth things, except for is it inhabitable?
Well, but none of them are, so we're already kind of hand
But yeah,
waving that.
well, I'm saying like if they were all deemed inhabitable, like, and you just had to choose, like which environment would suit me the most? Like then I'll just look at it like regions, and
Like, you know,
like I don't know. I
I
think
really like civilization. That's one of the things that's been rough for me about the pandemic is it's like I like going to the symphony or to see like live plays. I like going to visit museums. You know, like um the culture of a place is really big for deciding if I would live there. So like in a vacuum scenario, it's hard for me to pick because almost all of my normal criteria are out the window.
what's up, Mr. B? Whose overgrown child is this? Joe's mom's overgrown child. Just imagine Joe being sneaky and putting stuff on the refrigerator. It's just funny. Giant turkey hands.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I
anyway, we
don't
had
know.
said we were gonna wrap up on the hour, and we are 3 minutes past already.
Oops.
It is always a delight to hang out with you, Janie. I keep forgetting that this is kind of work. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and post a link to twitch.tv/JaneyLaney _. If you aren't already following Janie, make sure to do it now.
Yes, everyone. And you guys have been listening to the amazing sounds of Joe Hills.
I do what I can.
This is Joe's channel. Make sure you guys are following. And like I said, I don't care if you don't like Minecraft. So what? There are a lot of people don't like Minecraft. It doesn't matter. Check out his streams. He doesn't just stream Minecraft. If you guys are even into like pinball, or maybe you just like to have some good content to chill and relax to, definitely hang out with Joe. Very, very, very great content creator. Is not is not in the content creator realm of always trying to make you buy a bunch of stuff and everything like that. Really, really, really amazing, very genuine person. Um, and he has some cool people that he knows. So make sure you guys are following Joe. It's and I want like follow Joseph. Sorry, I just want to call you Joseph.
I
Just
mean,
that
you
one
can
time.
if you want. It's
No, it's like
legally my
I
name.
told you before. I don't want to do it. It's just I have to do it one time, Joseph.
Okay, whatever.
So yeah, so make sure you guys are following him, and keep up with him on all his socials when you go over to his page. He also does do streaming on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are more of the YouTubey people, it's fine. You can find him there too. So yeah,
Yeah.
So I
Well,
feel like
thank you
this is
so much,
successful.
Janie. For those of y'all who don't know, the way we usually wrap these up is we hang up our calls and then do our raids individually. So
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you filling in last minute for Cleo. We're gonna hopefully get you back sometime that all three of us can hang out because it's always a fun time
Yes.
hanging out, Janie.
Yes. Go Cleo. Yes.
Yes. Alrighty. Until next time,
All
Janie.
right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, stream. I gotta figure out who we're gonna raid. I gotta figure out who we're gonna raid. Can't raid Janie because she is not gonna be continuing to stream. We should probably raid. What are they playing? Mario Kart. We're gonna raid Ollie playing Mario Kart. I wanted to play Mario Kart. I really gotta find my Switch now. Dang it. Anyway, until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. Do 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 do.